Oh my god. That is all I have to say about this. I never thought that an announcement would turn so many people that I respect into, like, people I'm disagreeing with. It's crazy. I actually, like, I got Interact jumping in on the bandwagon. Scott Junn posted another thing, and then Tru posted something, but I haven't watched Tru's yet. I'm gonna watch Tru's here. I expect Tru's to be a lot more reasonable. I don't know what he's gonna say. I could disagree with him way more. I could think he's the greatest thing ever. But, like, what's crazy to me about this whole thing is that, it's just the response from people that I know are good and that I know have high knowledge on the game. Now maybe that speaks to the maybe that could possibly speak to why we shouldn't do MMR. That these people that are crazy good are totally against this idea and want something different. Now that could totally speak to that maybe we shouldn't do MMR at all. But you know what? I'm open to anything at this point, because the fact is, something has got to change right now with this game. Something has absolutely got to change. It is not a matter of... Is there a patch? Oh, just... I took that survey already. But the fact is that something in this game's core has got to change for one reason or another. It's just not a healthy game right now, and that actually has to do with the balancing, but the matchmaking's also a part of it. And, like, as you rank up and understand that this game is just not healthy, you like, I don't understand how we've stood for it this long. I don't understand how I've been playing a year and this idea has now only been addressed when it's been here since 2016, I think. The emblem system is a mess. Like, the things in this game that are a mess, it's gonna take a while to fix every single one of them. But for me, let's talk about what I think right now. I have no experience with an MMR type of system, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say that right now. I myself don't have any experience with an MMR type system. I mean, I play fighting games. So, I mean, in a weird kind of way, maybe I do. I have concept of the whole, you lose, your skill goes up, you win, your skill goes down. I mean, that type of system's being used in Smash Ultimate for its online, which, I mean, I don't play very consistently, but I play it some. And then Mortal MK11 uses something similar. I mean, your skill in Combat League doesn't go down ever, but you just get way less points to the point where it's not viable to consistently lose. And then I'm sure they do some kind of rank reset. I don't know. I just started playing MK11 and I have a lot to learn in that game. So what I'm doing here, talking about Dead by Daylight again for the 75th time, I don't know. But yeah, this game, I mean, I say all this criticism for this game with love. I love this game, and you know what? Ideally, if this game was better and more competitive, I would fucking main this game. I would fucking try to take this competitive scene to the highest level I possibly could. But the fact is, like, this all comes from a desire to do that, and a desire to see the game healthy, and a desire to see the game thrive on the stage that I know that it can, like Identity 5 does. That's where all this comes from. But, so basically, I have no experience with the MMR type system, and again, this could flop, dude. This could flop. I know nothing about. I keep saying I know nothing, but like, why are you even here? This entire thing could flop, but the fact is that this is a direction the game has to go in. Something has got to change right now. So if this flops, at least I'm willing to see that they tried to do something like it, and forgive it essentially. So I think that's all I have to say right now. I already kind of released something about the matchmaking. So if you want to hear my full analysis of the matchmaking and what they're actually doing specifically, more than you'll see it here, because I'm just responding to people here. Go over there, because I've already talked about this extensively, and like what I think about it, and how that's a step the game needs to go in, just for the health of the game. So, but of course, we have some friends, people that I respect in the community, and people that are really real staples in it, coming out like I'm either completely against it or just making an analysis video of it. So I thought what I would do here is I would go through their analysis videos, and again, whenever we do something like this, I got my little Coke. Let me get my Coke. Open it up. I've watched Interacts and I've watched Scott Junn's, but I watched them both not today, so they're not exactly fresh in my mind. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go through it as if I've been watching it for the first time. So let's go ahead. We're gonna start with old reliable Scott Junn, as I already have a history of commenting on stuff that he said. Let's go ahead and listen to what he has said.
Hey guys, Scott here, and I wanted to talk about the new MMR system the devs have announced for Dead by Daylight and how it will never ever work. And to me, it's extremely easy to see why an MMR system can't work for this game. There are too many variables. I've talked about this in basically all my videos, but
like, you keep saying there's too many variables, but the fact is, identity, like, you can keep saying there's too many variables, and I'm gonna try not to keep repeating this point, but the fact is that Identity 5 is a clone of this game that has the same variables and is doing this, and they're doing this at a top competitive scene, and they're doing it with a lot of money on the line. They're doing this at the level we should be doing it, with the same variables. So the fact that Identity 5 even exists disproves every point he has about the game being too unique, or having too many variables, or anything like that. Every point he says about that is disproven by the fact that Identity 5 exists. And just look up Identity 5. Just watch Call of the Abyss. That is exactly what competitive Dead by Daylight should look like. Exactly.
it's just impossible to design a system that accounts for all the variables that go into the outcome of a match. People have thought of solutions for years, like collectively as a community, and there are still no answers. You just can't do it. Here's what I mean, like a line from the update right here. Going forward, we will use a hidden skill rating for matchmaking purposes. Your skill rating will increase when you do well and decrease when you do poorly. Already, the entire system is now flawed. You cannot...
Like, why? I don't understand why this system is flawed. And of course, I'm gonna let him explain, but like, ideally, you gotta kill and you gotta fucking escape. That's the easiest win condition of the game. Like, I don't understand how that is so hard for us to just agree upon. 2 escapes is a tie. 3 kills is a win, and then 3 escapes is a win. I don't understand how hard that is for the community to agree upon. I understand that the devs have made it confusing. The devs have done stuff to make it kind of a pain in the ass because of their fucking win condition. Like the devs have made this more difficult than anybody else because of their emblem system and of their approaches. Now again, like, the only scummy strategy I don't necessarily agree with, and the one that should be penalized, is camping. That's the only scummy strategy I completely disagree with. Not only, first of all, you can, like, I don't even think you really need a system to punish camping, because camping will punish itself, because camping's not viable. Camping's not viable if you do it wrong. But, the fact is, sometimes there's a needed camp. And like, I think all killer players will know what I'm talking about. Sometimes camping is the correct play. I have done it, and I have won with it. And there are games where if I didn't camp, I would not have won. If they're being overly altruistic, absolutely camping's the correct play. But that's the only time camping's the correct play. And you can get a sense, and like, usually camping the first hook is not the correct play. You have to get a sense for how quick the saves are moving. Like, if you leave and then 20 seconds later a save, like not even 20 seconds. Like if you leave the area and as soon as your tear radius is gone, somebody makes the save, somebody was right there watching you. So the next time you hook somebody, you should stay a little longer, you know? Like like it's stuff like that. You can't just let the survivors have their way. Whatever the survivors are trying to do, you have to counter what they're doing. Overly altruistic survivors are countered by lingering in the area for longer than you would have otherwise. But other than that, like the nodding, like the memes that you see where the nodding happens, like all that, yeah, that shit's scummy as fuck, bruh. So yeah, I agree with to the camping emblem with some extent, but like, there should be a penalty for it. I completely agree, but I just would like to point out that the camping can help in some situations. And again, when they're being overly altruistic, ideally you get in a chase, so it shouldn't matter anyway. But like, just remember that can sometimes happen.
Cannot determine what doing well and doing poorly in this game is.
Absolutely, you can. Absolutely, you can. If you fucked up, you fucked up. It's very easy. If the killer's getting dominated, they're probably not playing the best. But again, you know, as a killer main, I'd like to point out that the game is also very unfair. But it's like you can be doing extremely well as killer and still lose. And if survivors are getting down before they got to use the location and out in the open, there's potentially nothing you could have done about that. So like, those are the only times where the game is really being unfair to you. Like, unfair in quotes. Or, like, the killer using subversion as a tactic in and of itself to make so that has enough counterplay in the game to where it's fun. Like, a subversion is countered by sprint burst, as I have clearly stated on this channel a lot. Sprint burst is becoming a criminally underrated perk, but yeah, that's something. But yeah, there are metrics for determining what doing well is. Again, like, it's not 100% accurate, but like, you know, at what point does it become, well, if I just did this, I would have won, or if I just did this, I would have won. You can fucking suck in one round of Mortal Kombat and then explode in the other. It's like, is NRS supposed to go, well, you had him in the corner the entire round, so it wasn't really fair, he didn't really get a fair opportunity to play. Like, no, fuck you, he had the corner. That's what the game is. That's what the game is. Just instead of saying that, like, it's impossible to determine if you're playing well, just accept that you're more likely to do worse during a round than you are others.
It. So the system is based on a premise that's impossible to define to begin with. Like, what killer are you to begin with? What add-ons did you bring? What map did you get? What perks do you have? What perks do the survivors have? Is this a map back? This killer, did someone Kobe? Did you get bad map RNG? It's like, there are an infinite number of variables that result in the outcome of each match, and you can't account for all of them, or even...
Okay, so let's talk about a few things there. Ideally, everything is balanced enough to where, like, the variables are, like, less than he's getting out there. And, like, again, I'm not talking about add-ons. I actually like, we're gonna go into his other video about the system too. I actually really like his idea for add-ons and the fact that they add penalties. So I actually really like that idea, but we'll get into that later. So add-ons we're not gonna cover right now. But ideally, the maps are something that should be balanced. And again, I'm not saying every map should have a perfect 50-50. I understand what a counter pick is. I play Smash Brothers, for God's sakes. So it's like, I do want maps to lean one side or the other sometimes, but I want slow implications on some maps to be stronger. I want survivors to have defenses, because if the survivors don't have defenses, we can't play the game. There's no game if the survivors don't have defenses. In the same way that if you nerf killer 85 times, half the killer community leaves. Like, it's just like that, bro. The point is, though, that ideally, like, stuff like the maps are balanced. And, you know, Kobe, you know, in Identity 5, there's no such thing as a Kobe. Like, I would just get rid of Kobeing altogether. No disrespect to the man who just died, but I'd get rid of Kobeing altogether myself. It's kind of dumb that a 4% can, like, really change the outcome of a match that you had no counterplay for. I'd get rid of that. That's just me, though. But yeah, his add-on idea, which we'll get into later, is good. I didn't catch the rest of that, but I think I've made enough of a point on that one. We're gonna keep going.
Most of them, like, you're not a bad player because you got Blood Lodge with Wraith and everyone can just see you at all times. You're not a bad survivor if you spawn in a dead zone with Billy that comes right at you and you have no defenses. Like,
yes, but you're not at the same time. Like, you're not a bad if you do that. But at the same time, you're also not a bad player if Injustice 2 Joker trapped you in the corner the whole round. You're not a bad player if, like, you got zoned out by Cetrion in Mortal Kombat 11 around and you didn't deal much damage to the guy. Like, there's just situations and factors in the game that just makes the game what it is. Like in the same way that you're not a bad FPS player if somebody shot you in the back once and killed you because you didn't see that they were there. Stuff happens in these games. Stuff happens in these games. Like, sometimes can have a massive effect on the outcome. Like, seriously. You're not a bad Captain Falcon player in Smash Ultimate if you up B and there's a nest waiting for you with a yo-yo and you die. There's just some things that just happen in these games. And for us not to compare it to other games is the reason why we are in this fucking dead zone where we say, oh, we can't compare it to other games. We can't have a tournament scene. We can't balance for high level because we can't compare it to other games. It's bullshit. It's a myth, and it's a lie. And if for us to fucking not compare it to other games is the reason why we go out on this pedestal about, oh, we're so unique. We're not so unique. Every game can be balanced for high level. And every game can have a competitive scene if you just fucking do it right. And so to say, like, oh, there's too many variables, like, you're not a bad player if this happens. Well, yeah, you're not a bad player in anything. If something happens, like with your Captain Falcon and you up B, there's a nest waiting for you up there with a yo-yo, or a hero waiting for you with magic burst. They're not a bad player. You just die. It's just what happens. Every other game has accepted this. Why can't we accept it? Oh, because we like to live in fantasy world where we're too fucking great to be compared to anybody. I hate that world. I hate it. It's the big mentality that's holding us back right now. We'll keep going now.
With an automated MMR system like this, the game will simply draw the conclusion, though, without taking anything else into account. How do you even determine who is good at Survivor? Is an escape good? If so, just hide all game. Fuck your team. Get the hatch. You're now a god.
The hatch shouldn't be in the game. Let's talk about that. I feel like I bring this up all the time. The hatch shouldn't be in the game, so the hatch should be removed, and we should be importing Tru3ta1ent's method of you have 2 minutes to kill the guy. The pallets are restored depending on how many generators are done, and then pallets are restored. You have 2 minutes, and then after the 2 minutes, like you hook the third survivor, the end game collapse starts upon the hook of the third survivor. After 2 minutes of seeing their aura every 3 seconds. And the restored pallets, the final chase, the gate opens. Both gates automatically open after the 2 minutes, then the survivor can leave. And no NOED when this would go up. That's a rule I added. No, if you did it this way, the NOED would not be triggered by the endgame collapse. NOED can only be triggered upon all the generators powering, not if there's still generators to be powered, NOED shouldn't go off. But I mean, that's what I would do. The hatch shouldn't be in the game. In order to determine who's a good survivor, yeah, escapes help, but like even in his next video where he talks about like the metrics of kiting the killer, the system should award the survivor that kited the killer the most. If that's, again, Identity 5 doesn't even do an escape bonus. I think, oh, actually they do, but it's super easy to earn max points in that game if you're kiting the killer the whole time. Like, the system awards and gives the best deduction to the person that kited the killer the most, like 9 times out of 10. Unless you both did, like, almost the exact amount and then somebody was the sacrifice. I don't know, there's a lot of metrics you can do. There are too many metrics, yeah, I know. But, so like, yeah, kiting the killer is the most efficient way to show skill as a survivor. That's the only thing they do that takes any skill at all. Granted, it's not as much as they would make you believe. Survivors legitimately think what they do is like the hardest thing in the world. Dude, you go on social media, there's some survivors that not only think what they do is hard, but that the killer actually has the advantage over them. And it's like, bro, what rank are you? 15? Get good.
Altruism good. Or what if the killer is like a face camping Leatherface or something and you can't save in any way? Are you not bad at Survivor? What if the plague and you can't...
You can't save in any way. Well, you know what? First of all, you can save against from face camping Leatherface. good players do it literally all. If you couldn't save people from face camping Leatherface, that would be the most efficient way to get 4Ks, which is just not. There are ways to save from face camping Leatherfaces, bro. It's, again, granted, it's not easy, and noobs won't be able to do it. And again, you know what? I'm really bad against Leatherface. That's my biggest weakness as a survivor. I can't deal with that character. It's just one of those things. But you know what? Again, shit happens. Shit happens. And again, an MMR system should punish people for face camping. It should. If a killer wins by face camping, their MMR should go down. I completely agree with that statement. So again, since the MMR would be punishing people for camping, you wouldn't even see that anyway. In fact, you could even go further. If the MMR system is detecting that a survivor is losing by being face camped, they can make the MMR stay the same. Or something like that. Again, there's a lot of things you can do to make this system work or accommodate for face camping. Like fuck, you can make their MMR go up if you really wanted to. I disagree with doing that, but like if that would make people shut up about face camping, hey, if you're getting face camped, it means that the killer respects you, so your MMR goes up, like, or something like that. Make people shut up about it. Because, like, I don't want the face campers at rank 20 to be the reason why we can't get balance at high level. I don't know why we just cater to these low ranks all the time. They're the people that have the least amount of time with the game. So to cater for them, it's like, well, what about face camping Bubba? Face camping Bubba barely exists at top level. You might see one that's memeing every now and then, but, like, who the fuck's playing Leatherface at the red ranks? Like, okay, maybe the top 1% when they get a requested build on Twitch, but, like, who the fuck's playing Leatherface at the red ranks? Be real. I mean, I play Leatherface, but I try not to face camp with him. And you know what? If you're being overly altruistic and the Leatherface notices, yeah, your ass is going down. Good. Like, don't be overly altruistic, you clowns. And if you see the Bubba's face camping, do the Jensen, get out. It'll hurt his MMR. And then he'll go down. Let's, like, fuck, people. The face camping is countered by gen rushing, and you know what? If your team wins, here's the thing: if your team wins and the guy got face camped, he's probably the one who kited the killer the most, so his MMR would go up.
Can't heal them. What if it's tied to how long the match goes? Well, then Billy just slugs for the 4K in 2 minutes. Now, he's a bad player. What if I run an iridescent head 200 games in a row? Am I now a godly huntress? Is this huntress being compared to an add-onless clown with the same system? Like, You can't automatically define this stuff. It's impossible.
It is possible.
You can tell when a player is good. A person can spectate and know this killer is good, this survivor is good. A system cannot ever do that because it's impossible to code for every variable that actually happens.
Yes, it is impossible to code for every variable that happens, but the fact is that systems like this exist in other games. They can't either. So, like, to ask a system to do all that is quite ridiculous. No system does that. Mortal Kombat's system doesn't do that. Injustice 2 systems never did that. Smash systems doesn't do that. A system doesn't do that. All a system focuses on is being the most accurate that it possibly can. Yeah, you know what? Shit happens. Sometimes you'll go on Smash Ultimate and you'll pick fucking who obviously has a counter. You'll pick Banjo and Kazooie and Smash Ultimate, and the guy will pick Pac-Man, and guess what? You lose. You lose that matchup. Sorry. Wonder Wing's countered by trampoline. Shit happens. It doesn't mean you're a bad Banjo, but guess what? Your fucking GSP still gonna go down. If you care about your GSP that much, just quit out. Don't deal with the Pac-Man. But yeah, shit happens. It's not that you're a bad player when these things happen. It's just that's how games work. Games work by being unpredictable, and sometimes your MMR is just gonna straight up go down if you get a bad map. It sucks, but that would just be how it is. No system is perfect, bruh. And like again, sometimes you'll be playing fucking I'm trying to think of. Sometimes you'll pick Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat, and your opponent picks Cetrion, and guess what? You're just gonna lose. You pick Shao Kahn. It's just something you accept, bruh. Like, just asking for a system to do everything and to just carry you the whole way through, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. When MMR goes in, I'm not expecting it to be 100% accurate. I would like it if it doesn't flop either, but, like, just asking it to be 100% accurate, you're not gonna get 100% accuracy, so you shouldn't expect it. You shouldn't expect it. But at the same time, seeing a system that is better than the one we have now, like, everyone forgets, like, oh, MMR sucks. You know what? MMR's probably not great. It's probably not great. So you'd rather stick with the system we have now? The one we have now, the shitty one, the one that's putting me against red rank killers, against red rank survivors every time I queue up at purple rank. Like, that's bullshit, bruh. Everyone can see my fucking rank. I'm 8, right? Yeah. Like, a system that would put me against red rank survivors right now because there's too fucking many of them, and there's not enough killers because killers are done playing with the game because they're done with your bullshit. They're getting nerfed over and over again. And it's an MMR system's fault that this is happening? I don't think so, bruh. Like, seriously. The fact is that we need a better system. We need something. And for everybody, like, for people I respect in the community to just not want to try, it hurts, bruh. It hurts my tiny little fragile soul. Alright, anyway.
For example, like a good survivor might perfectly know the distance of a lunge and run through a pallet, baiting a swing, saving the pallet, and wasting the killer's time. A system is not going to be able to reliably record situations like that and assign a skill rating to the play that was just made. You can't even determine, like, how good a survivor...
Yeah, but, like, what, like, okay, first, MK has a system kind of like that, but, like, you know, in Smash Brothers, this stuff isn't recorded either. No one's knowing when you got a 2-frame and giving you points for it, like, oh, we got a 2-frame, his GSP's going up. That's not, like, why would you want every action recorded? Like, what significance is that? Now again, maybe that's a little different from a fighting game, because again, my main experience is with fighting games. But so maybe that's a bit different, and like especially for a team-based game like this. But like, you know, in fighting games, this kind of stuff isn't recorded. Like, ideally, that should just go under the category of kiting the killer. You don't really need like specific skill points to be rewarded, I guess. We're going for a simple win condition where 2 kills is a tie, 3 kills is a win, 3 escapes is a win, right? That's what I'm assuming that's what this new MMR system's gonna do, which is how it should have been fucking done in the first place. But this emblem system is crap and doesn't do anything for anybody. Like, no action, like, no, does that happen in Overwatch or Doom? I know when I play my short experience with Doom Online, like, you're not getting, okay, you're getting, I'm trying to think about Doom, from my experience with it. You're getting, like, skill tallies. Like, when you get a headshot, it tells you. When you get, like, a revenge kill, it tells you. If those are possible to program, why wouldn't it be possible to program that? Like, wouldn't it be possible? I don't know enough about game programs, so I honestly can't say. But, like, wouldn't it be possible to, like, you could, like, wouldn't it be possible to record if the killer misses you or something? You could just like call that a missed attack or a dodge or something, or a juke. Just a juke. Give it a juking scoring event. The pallet doesn't matter about the pallet. You just give that a juke scoring event. Whatever you juke the killer, that could be worth something. I don't know, can't you do that? Or am I crazy? Again, I don't know enough about game design, so if that's impossible, I guess I'm stupid. But again, I will argue that in fighting games, and again, even in Mortal Kombat, it gives you skill points for stuff. Like when you do a flawless block, it lets you know you've done a flawless block, and it gives you coins for it. So, like, again, even in fighting games, I've seen stuff like that done. But again, maybe in DBD it's different because we're too unique, I guess. Whatever.
Survivors based on how long they last in a chase. Like, what if like a rank 20 meghead just uses every pallet on the map? She just straight up camps every single pallet. The killer actually chases her for like 3 minutes because they used every resource on the map. Now nobody else has anything, but that Meg technically will last longer in chases because she used all the pallets.
Okay, but like how often is that happening? Like how often is that happening? Like at rank 20 meg, again, rank 20, we're talking about the bottom of the barrel here, bruh. The bottom of the barrel. So again, maybe the system will be slightly inaccurate at the lower ranks, but you know what? It's not like that's going to make much of a difference anyway. And especially to us, where this would be a lot better for us, because again, anything would be better for us right now. The high-ranked players of this game, anything would be better for us. Let's not kid each other. But so it's like, you know, a rank 20 meg goes up. Maybe her MMR goes up one time. Is she gonna do that every fucking match? And also, I argue collectively that if survivors are losing, everybody's MMR should go down. Every single survivor's MMR should go down instead of going up. So her MMR would just go down less because the game would read her as she did the chase. But like, you know what? But again, for being more accurate at the higher ranks, that would just be something we have to sacrifice. And you know what? For how much that the high level has sacrificed for casual play, I think being slightly inaccurate, it's sometimes maybe with one situation where we don't even have any statistics on how much it's happening for, like just some so one situation where I mean, is that happening a lot? I don't know. I don't play at the low ranks, so I don't really fucking know if that's happening very much. I don't really play Survivor altogether, because whenever I play Survivor, I feel like an asshole. But that's beside the point. So again, like that one situation, first of all, again, that's not happening at the high ranks. Two, if the survivors are losing the game, the entire team's MMR should go down. Every single one. So her MMR wouldn't be going up if she lost anyway. And again, I'm putting words in the devs' mouths right now. They haven't released anything about their MMR, so maybe their MMR is way worse than the one that's in my head. But like, but if the Meg goes and drops every pallet, her MMR would go down. It would technically go down less, because even though it technically would be her fault because she wasted all the resources on the map. But you know, her MMR is still going down, so it's not like she's going up anywhere, bruh. So it's not like she's getting projected to the rest. She projected high above the rest. No, she's still going down. She's still lost too. So it also, with how fast the generators go in this game, if the Meg's lasting 3 minutes, you should have one generator left upon her going down. So that's enough time to make the rescue. So basically, even if the Meg wastes every resource on the map, survivors at rank 1 know games last 5 minutes now. So if the Meg lasts 3 minutes, why don't you have one generator left, you clowns? Oh, it's because you're also bad at the game. So guess what? Your MMR also should probably go down if the Meg lasts 3 minutes and you don't have one generator left. That's also partially your fault. So there's a lot that goes into it. If the game's not getting played right, you're gonna lose. And when you lose, your MMR goes down. And guess what? Then you stay at the low ranks, separated from us. Great. Keep the casuals out of our. Keep that casual filth out of our high-level games, please.
Does that mean now all the other survivors are now bad all of a sudden? Like I said, I thought
it doesn't mean they're bad, it just means their MMR would go down. Again, in the same way that you're not a bad Captain Falcon player if you up B and there's a fucking hero with magic bursts at the top waiting for you. You're not a bad Captain Falcon if you die to magic burst at 60. It's just something that happens in the matchup. It's just something that happens. If you fucking up B and there's a fucking hero magic burst or a nest yo-yo waiting for you. It doesn't matter if you're a good Captain Falcon or not. You just die in that situation. It's like a penalty for playing your side. In the same way that if the killer faces MLG, Looper 20XX, their MMR is probably gonna go down. But again, I have an argument for that in a second.
Mathematically approximate the skill of players in each match. The closest I ever came was a complicated mess that accounted specifically for add-ons, perks, and the particular killer being used. For example, Huntress would have like no base modifier to her MMR rating, as she's a pretty balanced killer, while like maybe Spirit or Nurse would have a slightly, slight.
This is the idea I hated the most. Now again, I do not disagree with his idea. Again, we'll get into his video, and we'll probably go into more different detail explanation about it. I completely disagree with this idea right here. This idea says that if you pick the top tiers, you're penalized as a killer. That is absolute nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. You should never be penalized for picking a top tier. In any game ever, there's no penalty for picking a top tier character. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. And that'd be like, okay, again, in Yu-Gi-Oh, if you're running ABCs, or fucking Monarchs or something, I don't know, I haven't kept up with the Yu-Gi-Oh meta. If you're running a meta deck, it's like, oh, okay, you are penalized for running a meta deck, so you have to win 5 times. And if he beats you once, you don't win, because it shows that he was the better player. No, bullshit. That's absolutely bullshit. If you pick a top tier, you pick the top tier. I agree, however, that the add-ons can give penalties, but characters should never give a penalty. Again, that'd be like in a fucking tournament set. If somebody, you're playing in Smash Ultimate's picking Little Mac and you're picking Pac-Man, and Pac-Man fucking It's like, oh, well, Pac-Man beats Mac fucking 8-2, so if this little Mac player beats you once, it shows he's the better player, so he gets to move on in bracket. That's not how it works in any fucking system I've ever seen. Like, the fucking top tiers are bad matchups. They just get rewarded for picking bad characters. They just get rewarded for fucking picking the losing side. No, that's why we have tiers. That's why we have tiers in any game ever. That's why we have tiers. Oh, you're picking Cetrion? Oh, well, if your opponent beats you once, you're expected to win. So if your opponent beats you once, you lose. You don't get to move on. Set over. Not how that works. Not how that works. Top tier should never be penalized for being picked. Add-ons can be penalized for being picked. Top tiers characters cannot. Picking the nurse or the spirit should never give a base. It shows the guy, oh, well, you're less skilled because you're picking the spirit. Motherfucker, you have to lab spirit. You have to work with spirit. Getting good with spirit is not something that just happens. This is a huge complaint I have. The reason why spirit and nurse should never have been nerfed. Spirit and nurse don't carry anybody. They don't carry anybody. You have to play those characters forever and put your time in with them to actually become good with them. It takes time. It's not like Spirit and Nurse were so broken that if I picked either one, I would fucking shoot the red rank instantly. If I pick Nurse right now, pre-nerf, I'm getting fucking 4-man escaped on. Because my nurse was terrible. And which is why I support individualized killer, because I want to play nurse. But I'm not sacrificing 8 ranks to play nurse. I don't like her that much. But fuck, I would love to play nurse. But I'm not sacrificing 8 ranks to do it. It's just dumb how that people think that these characters are somehow, you should be penalized for picking them. So you're telling me all these nurse players that sat down with her and learned these blinks, learned everything about her, should then be penalized for picking her. That's nonsense. That's nonsense.
Penalty or something like that. However, if I equipped like Iridescent Head, that would apply a large penalty to the rating, while having no add-ons would apply a boost to the rating. There would also be a rating for perks. For example, if I go against a group of survivors one match and a group of equally...
Honestly, this next idea, he's talking about perks now. I kind of agree with this, I kind of don't. While I understand that something like Dead Hard and Decisive Strike are more clutch perks, it's that same logic, though. It's that same logic. You can't just penalize someone for picking the top tiers. You can't just penalize somebody for using their resources. I do not agree with the fact that survivors should be hit with a skill penalty because they're picking the top tier stuff. I disagree with that. And it's like, it sucks. Dead Hard and DS are really good and really annoying perks to deal with when you're playing as killer. But you know what? That's the meta. That's the top tiers. Expect DS. Expect Dead Hard. It's like, that's the game. I don't want to ever compromise what the game is for the expense of an MMR system. And again, the devs haven't said anything, so again, their system could be way better than this. But I don't think perks, at least on the survivor side, I don't think perks on the killer side should be penalized ever. It's the same. Add-ons can be penalized. Add-ons are those kind of thing that can really transform a match. But perks are just kind of resources in the game. But again, Iridescent Head Huntress, I understand how powerful Iridescent Head Huntress is and how dumb that is. Again, don't expect that to make it out of 2020. That's going to get hit with a nerf. But, fucking seriously. Perks are a thing that should not be penalized. And again, while it is annoying to have to deal with the same survivor perks over and over again, that's just because there's something unhealthy about those perks that needs toned down. DS being the fact that when you hook somebody else, the timer on the guy's timer should instantly go away, because then you're officially not tunneling anymore. And then on Dead Hard, I don't know what you do to Dead Hard. I like Dead Hard on paper. The idea that you can dodge a swing with it and it can be read and counterplayed. The fact is, that's not how people are using it. People are using it as a loop extender, and that's the stuff that I don't really know how to fix it. But that's beside the point. I'm not going to sit here and campaign for a Dead Hard nerf, but that's just how people use it at top level. Ideally, the loops are balanced enough to where that shouldn't actually matter. The reason why Dead Hard being a loop extender is broken right now is because the loops are too strong, which the loops have been too strong since the beginning of the game. And they took the infinites out, but they're still too good. If you really want to look at it, they're still too good. there's a reason why you get it down, and then 3 gens pop on you instantly. Unless you're Ghostface or something, but you know, whatever.
Least skilled survivors the next match, except those survivors all have, you know, decisive strike and unbreakable. We might all be the same skill level, but those perks drastically change what I'm able to do each match. So,
well, yeah, but so do characters in fighting games. Yeah, we might all be different skill levels, but if somebody picks Little Mac and then somebody picks Mario, you can't expect the Mario player to win. That's just how matchups work. But again, should the Mario player be penalized for picking Mario? Absolutely not. Is that how it works in Overwatch? Should we just penalize people for using the top tiers? I don't even know who's good in Overwatch. I've never watched an Overwatch match played in my life. I don't fucking know who's good in that game. But it's like, does Overwatch penalize people for using top tiers? Identity 5 doesn't, which is our game's counterpart on the App Store for free. That's kicking our ass in every single department. Identity 5 doesn't say, oh, if you pick Spider, you're penalized. Oh, if you pick Mercenary, you're penalized. They don't do that, and their system's just fine. The main issue with Scott is that he just wants it to be absolutely perfect. Well, sorry. Much like people, there's no such thing as a perfect system. It's just not gonna happen. But the fact is, the one we have right now is dirt under my shoe, and it needs fixed. Something needs to be done about it. And everybody campaigning, no behavior, please don't do this, please don't do this. That's only gonna hurt people like me that are high level, but are like at the lowest possible high level that's possibly there. Because the way we're doing it right now, it really fucks me in the ass. It really fucks me in the ass, and I for one can't stand it. I can't stand playing the red ranks every fucking time. I'm done with it. I can't stand it. It's either I'm gonna have to just quit the game, or something gets done about this.
those would have small hidden penalties to MMR as well. Additionally, you'd have to weight each killer differently because Clown should not be measured in the same breath as the Spirit, as one is vastly stronger than the other.
Yeah, but you see, that's my point. Why are we measuring character? Like, why shouldn't we measure characters the same way? Clown is weaker than the Spirit. Buff the Clown! I've been saying that for 2 months! The Clown is the worst killer in the game and needs buffed. Here's how it works. Like, a lot of survivors don't think Clown's the worst killer in the game. Top tier killer players, you generally agree Clown's the worst killer in the game. Clown needs buffed really bad. Like, really bad. And so, it's not that we shouldn't penalize Spirit players for that. We shouldn't penalize Spirit players because Clown sucks. We need to buff the fucking Clown. Fucking fuck, dude. How many fucking killers on this roster need buffs? Fuck, well, we want to play that game. Let's see. Trapper needs a buff. The Wraith's looking pretty decent right now if you've been following what's going on in the community. So the Wraith is actually fine for the time being. Billy's fine. Nurse is fine. Hag needs a buff. Doctor just got a buff, but he still needs more buffs. Myers needs a buff. Huntress is fine. Clown needs a buff. Pig needs a buff. Freddy's fine. Leatherface needs a buff. Spirit's fine. Legion needs a buff. Plague needs a buff. Ghostface is fine. Oni and Demogorgon both need buffs. So what is that? Like 10 characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 characters on the killer side need buffs. 11. And then the loops also overall generally need toned down on a lot of these maps, which would be a universal buff to killers. The concept of killer needs buffed as well, so technically, yeah, that would be a universal buff to everybody. But like, ideally, those are the killers that can't go on without a buff. And again, like some of these buffs are small. Hag just needs a small buff to her setting speed, and like just stuff. Ideally, I think you can give Hag 115% movement speed if you really wanted to. Because I don't think her power is that broken. It requires a lot of setup. No different from Trapper, and he has 150% movement speed. So I did like Hag. You can give her 115% movement speed, and then maybe a small buff to setting speed and teleportation distance, and just slightly buff those add-ons. She doesn't need much though. She's actually very strong if you know how to use her. But yeah, those everybody else though, ugly. Only needs is turning back. But yeah, that's a whole different game we could play. I don't really want to play that game, but yeah, that those are the killers that need fucking buffs in this game. So it's like, but again, because Clown needs buff, we're gonna penalize Spirit and Nurse players? That doesn't make any fucking sense. No game ever weights characters differently. I don't want to weight characters differently. That sounds awful. That sounds awful. Weighting characters differently is like the worst thing we could possibly do. And that is the biggest hard no I've ever heard in my life. Because again, no other game rates characters differently. I don't care if we're too unique. No game weights characters differently. And this one shouldn't either. This one should not either. Absolutely not.
So like I said, it's a complicated mess with so many modifiers and variables that it's just not even worth trying. The system can never work in this game.
It's not even worth trying. See, there's my biggest problem with this whole video. It's not even worth trying. He says, let's keep this garbage. Let's keep this garbage where it completely screws high level and favors casual players. Let's keep the emblem system. Absolutely not. We need something. Something needs to be done about this because it's horrible. It's actually fucking horrible. And it sucks to play, and like this is so bad, it's hurting the in-game experience, which is unacceptable when you really look at it. The ranking system is actually so fucking bad that it affects the in-game experience. And that is why it needs change more than anything else. It's affecting the overall enjoyment of the game with how bad it is. The ranking and the matchmaking is sucking so bad, my experience in the game is ruined because of how bad it is. And that is the sign that something needs to be changed. We shouldn't even try is absolutely unacceptable to me. I don't care if this MMR system is the best thing in the world. It's probably going to not be the best thing in the world. I know Dead by Daylight developers. I know what they do. I complained about them extensively. Extensively on this channel. Extensively. So, do I think this is going to be a huge Hail Mary full of grace, the Lord is with thee, and is going to fix the entire game? Absolutely not. This could fucking flop and make things way worse for all I know. But the fact is, if it flops and makes things worse, at least they tried. At least they acknowledged that the fucking thing we're doing right now is terrible. Let's not even try, bruh.
You can never automatically approximate how good a player is. It's something only a person, a spectator, can do. And this game is just not like any other game with a functional MMR system.
Identity 5 does a system that works. Why aren't we doing a system that works? Again, I said this already. The fact that Identity 5 exists, it proves that statement wrong. Identity 5 exists. They're doing tournaments. They have a ranking system. It's just a Dead by Daylight clone on the App Store. They're doing tournaments, and they have metrics. They have everything you say can't be done. They're doing it, and they have $1 million cash prize payouts in China. I don't understand how hard this is to do.
You can, far easier depict skill with automation in those games, but you can't do it in Dead by Daylight.
Why?
Seriously, suggest anything in the comments, and I can almost guarantee I can offer a counterpoint as to how it would not accurately depict skill.
But again, you can offer a counterpoint to every system that exists about why it doesn't accurately depict skill. You can offer a counterpoint to everything ever. Oh, well, Smash doesn't accurately show skill. Like, yeah, it's Smash Ultimate. We know GSP is a joke. We know. GSP is not very good. We know. But the fact is, GSP at least puts me with players that know what they're doing. I'm not with the casuals. GSP is at least good at separating the casuals from the high ranks. It's at least good at that. GSP is not the most accurate thing in the entire world. You could beat someone with 200,000 more GSP than you. It really doesn't matter. But the fact is, what a lot of Smash players seem to overlook is what GSP is there to actually do. GSP is to get you in a general idea of where you're supposed to be, which is what this MMR system would do. It wouldn't be the most accurate thing in the world, of course not, but no system is. The point of this is that it's supposed to get you where you are generally supposed to be, because we have a system right now that doesn't do that. This is why I say I'm a red rank killer in these games, because if I queue up right now, I'm playing against at least 2 red ranks, at least 2. Usually 3. 3 is the most frequent number, but I've had games where I play 4 as well. I'm a red rank killer because I play the red ranks. I play them every single fucking time. I know how they fucking play the game now. Because I play them every fucking match. Because of the system we have. When I queue up, I'm not in my general area. I'm not playing people of my rank. And that's why this system needs to go. The ranking system has become it's become obsolete for matchmaking. I can expect red ranks every time I play the game. Which again, you're saying, what's wrong with playing the top level? Nothing's inherently wrong with it. I definitely have enjoyed the experience while it has lasted. But you know what? I'd like to win a little bit. I'd like to stop playing the red ranks, and I would like to actually see a red rank near my fucking name. And you know what? I'd probably be rank 5 by now if I could just fucking play rank 8s every fucking game. I'd probably already be a red rank if I could just organically level up and get there. But the problem is I can't level up and organically get there. I can't see the red near my fucking crest because I just get stuck. I'm stuck at the purple ranks because every time I play there's red ranks. I've hit the rank 1 ceiling at rank 8, you could say. I'm not matching players that the game's ranking system right now has set is on my level. If you were to make an MMR system, it would hopefully fix that. Maybe not, maybe the devs would fuck it up, but the point is, it's supposed to get you generally where you're supposed to be. Which is more than I can say about the fucking garbage we have right now. The system we have right now is fucking shit on the toilet bowl and needs to be gone. It's awful.
And I want to make it clear, this is not a dig at the devs or anything like that, because I don't think anyone can do this.
Mine's a dig at the devs because they're awful, and this system we have is fucking terrible. And if anything that we could do is absolutely better than this, and if the devs don't do it, it will be an even bigger dig at them. This absolutely needs to be done. And I do not like how we have so many people in the community right now that are high in influence saying that we shouldn't do this. This is absolutely needed. This is like, out of all the decisions in the past 7 months that this fucking development team has done, this is the best one. This is the best one. And this is the one that we're gonna fucking, the high level people are gonna bitch about. We're not gonna bitch about the Hex Ruin changes as much as we should. Like seriously. The amount of outcry from like the top level, okay, Tru3ta1ent was unhappy, but like everybody saying that the Hex Ruin change was good, like bruh, and especially the people that I know play killer at high ranks are like, bruh, Hex, this is fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. We have nothing in the early game to stall generators now, bruh. We have nothing in the early game to stall gens, and so once somebody goes down, there's already fucking 2 or 3 generators done, and then you have 2 left. And it's a handicap for the rest of the game. All they have to do is get done to 2 generators by the time you have to go through and down 12 people. It's nonsense. And then they tell you don't tunnel. You put my back against the wall, I don't really have a choice. It becomes to the point where you have to get rid of their numbers as soon as possible, and if they have DS or borrow time, you just lose. That's what high level DBD is. If they have DS or borrow time, you just lose. And guess what? You would have lost anyway if they just fucking, if you tried to organically play the game. So it's like, at least if I tunnel, I have a chance to win. I have a chance. Like, maybe I'll tunnel the guy that doesn't have DS. And I'll play in the ghost space, so I don't get to worry about your borrow time. You know, like, at least if I tunnel, I have a chance to win. Or if I just organically played the game the way I should play it, I'll lose. The problem with the gen stalling perks we have now is that they're too slow, but they become an impact when you're already winning the game. Hex Ruin was the thing that was, for the most part, again, I've bitched extensively about Hex Ruin as well. The point is that Hex Ruin was the only perk we had that would actively help killers win. It would actively help killers win by slowing down generators before they started to get the momentum that something like Pop Goes the Weasel would then become solo viable, which is why a Ruin Cleanse mid-game didn't really mean anything, because Pop Goes the Weasel was strong enough to carry the gen control on its own after the killer got started. Killers have a problem getting started. They're really good at snowballing, but that problem is getting started. Ruin helped us get started. And again, if you just nerf base gen times, we could get started and not need Ruin. But since you're not going to do that, we needed it. But again, they're coming for your slowdown synergy. They're coming for your slowdown synergy. Get ready for that fucking garbage. Where they come get rid of all that. Because that's fair.
not the type of game that enables an MMR system as a real possibility, and I don't think they should waste resources even attempting it. Just keep the same silly system we have now.
Silly.
Actually match people according to the ranks instead of...
It's silly. The system we have is silly. It's silly in the same way my girlfriend is silly. It's silly. What a silly system we have here. Oh, what's a silly system we have here, mate? It's a shame it'll never be accurate. It's a shame it'll never work. Let's not even try. Let's not even try to improve the game. Let's just leave it in this awful state it is right now. That's absolutely unacceptable. I will not do that. I will not stand for that.
Randomly throwing them together as they have been in the past couple of months, it seems like. I think they should revert the Survive with Friends matchmaking change to involve averages again, not the highest, because that is killing low rank queue times.
Well, killing low rank queue times, because that's what we should care about. It's not. It doesn't matter if it makes high level abysmal. It doesn't matter, like, if here, the problem with the easy thing about that is it would help killers at the higher ranks. It would actually make SWF weaker at the higher ranks, because somebody couldn't just fucking face a rank 10 if they were rank 1 and they were with their rank 20 friend. Then the rank 1 would just kite the guy the whole game and flashlight blind the rank 10 killer 5 fucking times. It doesn't matter that it's killing the mid-level. It didn't matter that it was killing the mid-level. It hurts the low rank queue times. They're like, Scott Jund, you're way too good at the game to be talking like this. You have way too big of a voice. You're way too good at this game, and you have way too big of a voice to be talking like this. This is why we don't ever get change, because our best players that we know of, we don't really have a tournament scene, so we can't say the best players we know of are talking like this about how it's affecting low rank. Bro, fuck the low ranks. They're the reason why high level's abysmal right now. They're the reason we don't get good balancing. I don't hate casual play by any stretch of the imagination. I hate the fact that we're catering to them. I hate the fact that we shouldn't do an MMR system because it would affect the low ranks. No, fuck that. The high ranks are abysmal right now. Why should low rank play affect high rank play? Why are we always catering to the people that don't play this game? I don't understand that at all. No game is like that. Again, GSP and Mortal Kombat 11's ranking system is designed to keep the low ranks out of the high ranks. It's designed to keep that meta contained. That's what Elite Smash is deliberately designed to keep casual play contained. It's designed to keep it contained so it doesn't get in our way. That people that actually care about the game, in the competitive scene, that casual play doesn't get in our way. We're the only game that has decisions about high level get affected by what's going on by people who don't actually play and who suck. And it's really stupid when you say it like that. It sounds really dumb, but that's what we do. It's what we do. There's two ways to say it. It's either it would hurt. An MMR system would hurt casual players. That wouldn't be very good. Okay, that's what you said, right? It sounds okay when you put it that way. When you phrase it like we're balancing the game for the fucking scrubs who suck, that puts a completely different light around the whole thing. Which is what we're doing. We're getting rid of that fucking high-class language of it. We're balancing it for the people that fucking suck. And when you say it like that, it's like, well, why are we balancing it for the people that fucking suck? Why are we doing that? Why are rank 20s getting catered to? Why would a rank 20 meg... Why is a rank 20 meg the reason we shouldn't do an MMR? Like, no, fuck that. Absolutely fuck that. We shouldn't try an MMR because a rank 20 meg will go put the pallets down and get a slight boost. Maybe. Even again, there's ways to work around that. But that's why we shouldn't do MMR, because of what a rank 20 meg would do. No, fuck that. Fuck that, bruh. I'm not doing that. That's awful. That's horrible. That's a horrible reason not to do MMR. And again, I'm not kissing MMR's ass. MMR can be terrible. MMR can be terrible. But the fact is, it's better than what we got now that screws high level in the ass. Anything that doesn't screw high level in the ass is what I care about.
And I think the game will be fine. It will never have a good system, but it'll be okay.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. To who? Who's it okay for? It's certainly not okay. At least the purple ranks get fucked by this system because we play red ranks literally every fucking match. It's not okay to us. And again, I'd say the purple ranks are the people that, like, we're the ones that, like, you know, we care about this game, we want to be red rank, and I am red rank on the fucking Switch version. I just don't sit down and fucking play this game enough. The point is that, you know, purple ranks are the ones that, like, we have that skill, we have that potential to get up there. The problem is, we can't get up there because we're trapped by the system. The system is putting us against players we shouldn't be playing for 4 more ranks. We have like a 4 rank difference between us, and we can't ever get up to their level because we have to keep playing them. We can't find out what we're doing wrong. We can't test ourselves against players that aren't actually good enough yet. You know, players that the game says are on our level. It's not like I want to play a rank 16 with the Hag. I don't, but I would like to play a rank 8 with the Hag. I would like to play a rank 8 with the fucking Wraith. I would like to test some stuff before I have to go against top tier sweaty MLG Pallet Looper 20XX. I'd like to be able to lab a little bit before I have to go do that. I'd like to be able to play somebody that maybe doesn't know what they're doing to the extent that 20XX SWS Sweaty Flashlight Blinder 20XX Pallet Looper XXX wants to do. You know, I would like to lab a little bit more before I have to go and face that. Especially when it's not even balanced enough to where the winning is, like, I'd like to lab, like, this is how unbalanced Dead by Daylight is. I would like to fucking lab a fucking killer to the point where I can get fucking 2 people against 20XX Pallet Looper MLG Flashlight Blinders for FT dubs. I would like to get 2 people against them with Myers if I could. That'd be nice to tie them, because the game's so unbalanced right now, it would be nice to tie them. The point is, my main argument for MMR is this. When you fucking get an MMR system, again, I think he's gonna say this in his next video we're gonna watch. When you do an MMR system, you're gonna see that lower skilled survivors are beating high skilled killers. According to the system, a survivor that is a high mid tier is consistently beating a killer that is like a much higher tier than that. And that way, the devs can look at that and go, hey, why are all our mid-tier survivors beating some of our best killers? And then we'll look at that and go, maybe the game isn't balanced! And then we'll fix it! Maybe we'll get some balance changes that are actually in our favor for once. Killers haven't gotten a change in their favor since the insta-heal nerfs. When was that, September? August? We haven't gotten a change in our favor in like 6 months. It's literally been all killer nerfs for like 5 months. Ridiculous. We're nerfing the weaker role of the game, and I don't understand it, bruh. Killers are by far the weaker role in the game. The only thing that killer is stronger than is a solo survivor. And even then at the red ranks, it's close. It's very, very close at the red rank. Ugh. The power roll of this game is only stronger than an individual unit. And barely. It's barely close. Dead by Daylight has the most laughable power roll I've ever seen, bruh. Okay, so that was that. That was Scott Junn's video. He has another video about his attempt at a functional ranking system. I don't really want to go into that. I watched it yesterday. What he was basically saying was, I'll summarize it here. I hope I'm not going to misquote him or anything, because I don't really want to go into this. He was saying that when you add an add-on on a killer, it would penalize you on your skill rating for MMR. And it would give you a different win condition. For instance, if you were running Iridescent Head Huntress, he said you would have to like kill everybody or something, because like you are expected to win. Okay, I agree that there should be a slight penalty to MMR if you're running a huge add-on like Iridescent Head, but it also shouldn't change the win condition. You should just get less MMR when you go up. If you kill 2 survivors with Iridescent Head and you win the match with Iridescent Head, like if you're winning with Iridescent Head, you're killing 3 survivors and 1 gets the hatch. Like remember, like you have to say you have to get a 4K with Iridescent Head is to ignore the fact that we have a bullshit hatch mechanic. So I agree that add-on should pose a penalty, like a fucking Fragrant Tuft of Hair Meyer should have a penalty against him slightly. But not to the extent where you have to change the win condition. Nothing should change the win condition of the game. Nothing. Which is kill more than 2. Kill more than 2 is the win condition for killer. Get more than 2 out is the win condition for survivor. Nothing should change that. However, if an iridescent head huntress or a tombstone Myers wins, their fucking skill, they should not get as many points for using that add-on. It's not that we should change the win condition and they should go down if they lose. That's not how we should do it. But they should be penalized slightly. But again, he also did it for perks. I disagree with using it for perks because perks are just resources. Perks are just resources. And ideally, survivors are nerfed enough to the point where those perks need to become necessary. Because right now, the problem is these perks aren't necessary. So that's why they're too good. Dead Hard's only too good right now because it's not a necessary perk. You could run... because the loots are too strong. You could not run Dead Hard and still have like a 2.5 minute kite without it. That's the reason Dead Hard's too good right now, because the locations are too broken. If you nerf the locations and all those perks become necessary, then you don't need to actually nerf anything on the survivor side. Because, like, I don't think nerfing survivor perks is the way to fix this game. So survivors need a general nerf. They need a general nerf all across the board. The gen times need to go somehow. But again, maybe if you nerf the locations and the tiles, maybe the gen speeds become apparent and they become needed. The 80 second, 44 seconds, maybe all that becomes needed if you were to nerf the tiles. Survivors somehow need a general nerf at the high ranks. I don't think anybody would ever tell you otherwise. And then another thing he said was like added coordination, but like if a killer's facing an SWF 4-man and they lose, they would be penalized less. I also agree with that. Like, Scott John's system that he proposed is actually really nice, with the exception of penalizing you for picking a top tier killer. That is garbage, and I've already talked about why that's garbage. But with the exception of that, I actually really liked his system. Again, I mean, there's some minor nitpicks I have about it, but I actually really liked it. And if the devs went with okay, well, let me put it this way. If the devs went with Scott Junn's system exactly as he has it right now, I would be absolutely okay with it. Because what we have now is terrible and beyond repair. It's terrible and beyond repair. And if we put Scott Junn's system exactly as he wants it in quotes, exactly as he suggested it, exactly as he laid it out in his video, that would be much better. It would be much better than what we have right now. Again, so like, you put it in, killer penalties and all. Penalties for picking Spirit and Nurse, which is a joke, by the way. But if you did that, you would fucking, like, if you put it, it would be miles better than what we have right now. So that saves me another 10-minute video. It took me an hour to go over his 5-minute video. So if I went over his 10-minute video, that'd probably be 2 hours. We still have 2 more people to get through. I don't know how much I'm gonna watch on Tru3's, because I haven't watched Tru3's yet. So Tru3's could be almost nothing to work with, because I'm probably gonna agree with everything Tru3 says. Tru and I seem to think alike about a lot of stuff. I don't know, I haven't watched his video yet, so I could be wrong. But the next person that decided to throw his hat in the ring would be another person I very much respect. It would be Int3r4ct, who makes the Entity Education series. Another, I mean, he almost has 10,000 subscribers, but his videos get a lot of views, so I'm sure people have heard of him. He's another bigger voice in the community that, again, I have a lot of respect for. So I watched his video, and then he just seemed distraught about this idea. So let's listen to what he says. I haven't watched it in 2 days, so I don't remember most of it, but let's go ahead and watch this one.
Hello everybody, Int3r4ct here, again, talking about what the devs are doing. So basically, this is my second take at this. The first one was way too long.
Mine are way too long, but I don't care, bro.
They're putting matchmaking rating, MMR, ELO, whatever you want to call it, into the game. They're calling it skill rating or something dumb. So what is the issue with this that I have? Well, the major issue, where is it? They addressed it pretty well. They addressed it pretty well in one thing, where they said both sides have different objectives and cannot be directly compared to one another. And yet, they are using matchmaking rating, MMR, to directly compare one another.
Okay, let's talk about that. First of all, You can directly compare. I hate this argument. Scott Junt says this, Interact saying it now. And again, these are people better than me and more knowledge. I don't understand how they can draw these conclusions. You can directly compare Killer and Survivors because they share a commonality, and that would be time. They have the same amount of time within a match. So, you could, if we're trying to get a 50-50 rating where an ideal scenario where if everybody is equal skill in the game, the Killer is equal skill with the Survivors and everybody has a fair chance to win, and no one is significantly outplaying the other, there should be 2 escapes and 2 kills. That's the ideal scenario, right? So, we should be able to, ideally in this world, where 2 people are escaping and 2 people are dying, if nobody's significantly outplaying the other, we should have a commonality of time and how much time it should specifically take to do all the actions provided. If we should have a scope of like how long it should take to get done with 2 generators when this is out, when they're on even footing. When they're not on even footing, you see dumb shit like the Killer downs somebody and then 2 gens fly. And then he has 1 down and is 8% done with his win condition when Survivors are almost 40% done with theirs. You see that through the imbalance of the game. It's time. Time is how you directly compare the 2. And the Survivors have a distinct time advantage. Time is on their side. No top player will disagree with that. Time is on the side of the Survivors in this game. And that's because it's unbalanced, and that is the direct comparison you can use. Time. Time. I don't know why this has gone over the heads of like everybody who analyzes this game. You can directly compare Killer and Survivor. Time. Survivors have 2 gens done when the Killer gets it down half the time. 8%, around 40%, 30 to 40% done with their win condition by the time the Killer's 8% done with theirs. And again, I understand that Killer speeds up late game and Survivor slows down late game. That is something that happens. And that's something that, again, this model would accommodate for. Because, again, ideally, the model should accommodate for that. Where if somebody is, if ideally in a perfect world, where everybody's playing equally, nobody's significantly outplaying the other, 2 escapes are happening and 2 kills are happening. Ideally, there should be a time, an ideal time for the 5th gen to pop in this model as well. So we should be accommodating for the Killer's momentum when we do this stuff. So, but like because you can see the imbalance of the game, you can see that Survivors are popping the first generators way too early, and that's because of 2 things: general game imbalance and the Hex Ruin nerf. That is why there's popping generators so fast in the early game, which has put even more pressure on Killers to either leave the game, or run slowdown synergy. Because again, leaving the game after the Hex Ruin nerf is something I completely support if you guys are doing that. The Hex Ruin nerf was ridiculous, but it's the point of it is that you can directly compare Killer and Survivor metrics through time. So there is, if you're doing the matchmaking right, it should accommodate for this setting of time. Because when you're seeing people die and Killers getting a 4K, the Survivors that you're playing with are either too slow or can't kite. Being too slow at the gens is another thing. It's the second most thing that requires skill on the Survivor side, I guess. It's the only other thing they do that debatably requires skill. Knowing where the gens are, powering through them really fast. Again, how much skill is up to interpretation, but still, it has something to do with skill. And so, like that is the direct comparison that you are using, even if you don't know it. When you use MMR, you're using the bad, like, what Killer is getting started faster, what Killer is getting downs faster than the average Killer. Those are the ones that are in those are the ones that MMR would put in the top tier. They would put them as the higher skill cap. Even if you don't understand this metric, MMR would be analyzing it, even if it doesn't know it. Even if it doesn't know it. Time is how the system would work. I don't understand how that's so hard for people to grasp and understand. You can compare the two sides. You could have always compared the two sides, and you can do it through time. How much time is it taking to pop the first fucking generators? How much time does it take to get the first down? How much time does it take to get the last generator done? How much time does it take to kill 2 survivors? You know, it's that stuff like that. Even if you don't understand the MMR system, that is what the MMR system would be doing. Even if the devs don't understand it, which between us, they don't. There's no way they understand this. The devs know nothing about high-level gameplay, so they've proven that. They've proven that time and again. They know nothing about high-level gameplay.
This is a bad idea. This is dumb. This game is not balanced. This game is not chess.
This game is not balanced. This game is not balanced, and this is another. You know, again, a lot of Interact's videos just saying that the game isn't balanced and this is dumb and this is a bad idea and blah 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 blah. Again, he'll say that a lot in this video without really backing it up. The reason that this is okay is because of the fact that. There's a reason that I'm okay with the game not being balanced before we do MMR. The devs aren't going to balance it. They've said they fucking understand. They've made that perfectly fucking loud and clear. The devs aren't going to fucking balance anything in this fucking game. So, what I'm hoping will happen is I've mentioned this before. The MMR will go up. The devs will go, hey, how come our mid-tier survivors are beating our top-level killers? That's weird, isn't it? That's kind of weird. How come no killers at the top ranks ever win ever? How come they go down and they're also losing to people significantly lower than them? That's weird. Huh, that's really weird. Huh, why is that? Oh, maybe it's because the fucking game isn't balanced, bruh. Maybe we should give killers some help. If you do with this type of MMR system, I think what's happening at the top ranks will become more clear. I think the data will be more accurate. Again, I think what's happening at the red ranks is perfectly loud and clear to the developers. Now they're just choosing not to do anything about it. So I don't know why I think that an MMR system is going to somehow make it more clear to them. But what I'm hoping is that by having more high-level killers go down through an MMR system, by more high-level killers taking losses and going down in an MMR system, the devs will go, hey, this high-level killer just got beat to the point where he's now at the fucking mid-ranks, destroying them. And then he keeps fluctuating back and forth between the mid and the high ranks, because every time he goes to a high rank, all of our best survivors and our high-rank survivors kick the crap out of him. And then he goes back down, and then he beats the mid-ranks every single time. So again, like, if this happens to one person, it might not matter. But what I'm hoping is the devs will realize this is happening to multiple killers. This is happening to over 80% of the high-level killer player base. They're being knocked down into the mid-level again. And the devs will go, huh, why are 80% of our high-level killers getting knocked back into the mid-ranks? Oh, it's because there's nobody that can really challenge high-level Survivor in this game. Maybe we should nerf high-level Survivor and see if that makes killers able to breathe and make them be able to go up into the higher ranks again. I think if you do this, there is more precedence for getting rid of high-level Survivor. That is why I'm hoping that they'll do. I mean, not getting rid of it, but toning it down. Because the fact is, it's not that I want Killer to go, oh, Killer wins every time. Oh, I'm so powerful. Rah! No, I want to have the fucking tools to be able to win. High-level Killer, unless if you're playing Nurse or Spirit. Unless you're playing Nurse or Spirit, you don't even have the tools to win. But yeah, let's penalize Nurse and Spirit players because Clown sucks. That makes a lot of sense, Scott John. It doesn't make any sense when you put it like that, now does it?
It is by its nature asymmetrical, which means you cannot directly, as they literally state in their own sentence, you cannot directly compare each side.
Oh, so we're gonna cite something the dev said. That's Interact, come on, bro. You data mine. You're smarter than this. Don't ever cite something the DBD developers say as being fucking fact. The DBD developers have their heads up their own ass. Dave Richards will probably give Matthew Cote a blowjob right now. They have their heads up their ass, bruh. They don't know what they're doing. You think DBD developers know about high-level DBD? Cute assumption for an outsider. Oh, wait, you're Interact. That's different then. That's different. You should know better. The Dead by Daylight devs know nothing about high-level DBD. Absolutely fucking goddamn nothing. I don't speak for an hour and 18 minutes because I'm nice to people, bro. I love these guys. I think it bears repeating. I'm making fun of them. I'm making fun of Scott, John, and Interact. I love these guys. I do. I respect the shit out of them. But the fact is, they're talking dumb right now. I don't want them to be dumb. Come on, guys, stop being your dum-dums. You're smart. You're both really smart people. I don't understand why the dum-dums coming out right now. Again, time. Time is how you directly compare them.
So why are you trying to? Because
time. It's literally that easy, my guy.
Matchmaking sucks. Behavior... Guys, listen. I love you.
I don't.
Made a game. Well, I mean, I like you, I guess. I love my wife. I have like a love-hate relationship with Behavior. They made a game that I played a lot and I enjoy it.
Same. That's my relationship with them too.
No, I don't think anyone in their sane mind would say the game is balanced.
No, it's not. Oh, Survivors would, dude. Like this is I have a news series where I want to read Survivors' social media comments, because seriously, there are survivors who again, I said this before, not only think the game is balanced, but think the killer has the advantage. There's multiple survivors that think that, and guess what? Guess where they happen to be? At the low ranks. And guess who we balance for? Low ranks. It's easy to see why that mentality is a harmful one. And there's easy to see why that mentality affects the core nature of the game. If you're really smart and really looking at it. There's a reason where you have to tell those people to shut up. Because they're getting in the way. It's like, dude, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. The only thing I support about that statement is your right to say it. And I have the right to tell you to shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. There's a reason why I have the right to tell you to shut the fuck up. Because if you don't know what you're talking about, I have the right to tell you to shut the fuck up. And saying when you're rank 15 is that killer has the advantage, you get a direct shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Get fucking better. Stop asking the devs to hold your hand at every single point. Guess what? I'm about to go fucking practice flawless blocking in Mortal Kombat when I'm done with this fucking video. And guess what? I'm not asking the devs to make it easier or hold my hand either. If I want to fucking play Joker, I have to learn how to flawless block. Because Joker doesn't like zoning. Joker doesn't know how to deal with zoning. So instead of me asking the devs to go nerf zoning, I'm gonna fucking try to get better at dealing with it. It's called learning the fucking game. I don't understand why we have to ask people to hold our hands at every fucking turn. Yeah, you know what? My friend Kyle, he played Jade last night. You know what? I was using the zoning Joker variation. He was using that move with projectile to armor through all my projectiles, and he was beating me. I'm not gonna go ask the devs to nerf Jade. If the devs, I'm not gonna go say, Jade's OP. Nerf Jade. You know, is Jade annoying? Yes. Can I get better at dealing with her stuff? Also, yes. I wasn't just losing because he was armoring through stuff. I was also losing because I'm bad at dealing with zoning myself. Jane's armor wasn't the only reason I was losing. It's easy to have a scapegoat and blame it. It's like, I'm losing that because I can't counter zone. Yeah, you know what? That might be why Jade wins the matchup. But you know what? You could also get better at flawless blocking. You could also do more about it. Not saying that I'm only losing that because Joker and Jade go even. I think Jade beats the zoning Joker variation. The zoning one. I don't think she beats the set play one. I think she beats, or maybe, I don't even know how well she does against the fucking boxing glove one. The Madman variation. But I do know that she probably beats the zoning one, because she can counter zone it pretty well. Because she can armor through the projectiles, and Joker doesn't have the up-close mix-ups that he does. I mean, he has up-close mix-ups, but he doesn't have all the same up-close mix-ups that he does in those other variations. And variation 2, more specifically. But it's like, why are we asking the devs to hold our hand? Okay, I got way sidetracked there. I'm talking about low rank again. But yeah, low rank mentality exists. And for Interact to go, I don't think anybody in their right mind would say the game is balanced. People do. And like, some people think it's unbalanced the wrong way. And those are the people we listen to. The low ranks. We have to tell them to shut the fuck up. because they're killing the game for the high ranks when they do stuff like get Hex Ruin nerfed and get Killers nerfed repeatedly.
So using MMR, which is done for balanced games like chess, Dota, CSGO, where everyone's on an even playing field. In chess, everyone starts with the same exact pieces in the same exact configuration. You got your king, you got your pawns, you got your queen, you got your knights, you got your rooks, you got your bishops. Everything's in the same spot. Sure, white goes first, but whatever. Who cares? In Dota, you have the same amount of heroes you can select. In League, you have the same heroes you can select, the same items you can buy, the same amount of gold you can make. In CSGO, everything costs the same for both teams. Somewhat, it's a little balanced to make things cheaper for terrorists because they have shittier guns, but whatever. Those games are somewhat balanced. Compared to DBD, those games are fucking perfectly balanced.
Probably.
MMR in a game like this that is asymmetrical, first of all.
Okay, he said MMR was done for those games and then didn't say why. I'm sure I don't think he's using a script here, but it's just like he said MMR was done for those games, right? Or did I mishear? Let me go back and listen to that part again.
Everything costs the same for both heroes you can select. In League, you have the same exact configuration, even playing field and shit. So using MMR, which is done for balanced games.
He said it was done for those games. He didn't say why. I'm not going to do outside research to consume this media. I'm going to need you to tell me why MMR is done before I agree with you. Because again, like from the on paper standpoint that they were given the devs, it made a little bit of sense. Again, I expect the devs to screw it up, but at least the concept made sense to me. I don't understand how it doesn't make any sense.
That's asymmetrical. Bad idea. Secondly,
no, I went too far.
MMR in a game like this that is asymmetrical, first of all, that's asymmetrical, bad idea.
You always hear this argument we're talking about Dave Delay. It's asymmetrical. Okay, Dead by Daylight pioneered a genre. I think we all understand that. Dead by Daylight pioneered the asymmetrical genre. So I mean, there was like maybe 2 other attempts before Dead by Daylight to do something like this, but Dead by Daylight's the game that really, that the fucking fire caught on and people really started playing this. It really caught on as a success. But when you really look at the fact that it's asymmetrical, that's just a gimmick. That's just a gimmick of this game. It should theoretically have nothing to do with game balancing. Nothing. And 1v1s don't have this issue, and their squad shouldn't have this issue when it comes to balancing either. There is no issue with balancing here. Both 1v1s and squads, they use the same philosophy too. To say that we are exception because we are unique is ridiculous. We're not the exception. We are part of the rule. Trickle-down balancing and top-level balancing will work for this game, provided we do it right. I understand that this game is unique, so there are unique challenges for balancing it at the high ranks. And like, again, even Identity 5, which is trying their best to do trickle-down balancing and high-rank balancing, it's not working for them either too well. It's better. The tournament scene for Identity 5 has definitely done a lot to improve the game. Like, seriously. Before Call of the Abyss, Killers didn't have trump card. Because of what was happening at Call of the Abyss, they gave Killers new abilities to make sure that they can compete more in the endgame. Because of the tournament. They're giving Killers buffs based on what's happened at the tournament. They nerfed Priestess immediately after the tournament. They were using facts from the tournament to go about their next decisions. The game is more balanced now because of it. It's still not done yet, but it's still more balanced now than it was, because it was dog shit. It was even worse than it is now before. They have definitely taken steps in the right direction, which is something Dead by Daylight is not doing. And they're doing it through the same method that other games balance their games. They're doing it right. We're not. Because Identity 5, the reason that they're balancing is better than ours is because they've accepted the fact they're not unique. They got off their fucking high horse. Which we need to do too.
Bad idea. Secondly, not very balanced. Bad idea.
It is not very balanced. And again, if we do MMR, it'll show in the results, which is what I said. before, while I was talking about Scott Jund. If MMR will show that it's not balanced, and then hopefully they'll fix it.
Please do not go through with this. Please rethink it. Don't waste your resources on this. This is a horrible idea.
They're talking about wasting resources. Behavior itself is a waste of resources. Sell this game to somebody who gives a shit.
I assume they're going to go through with it because they probably already dedicated a lot of resources to it. Much like the dedicated servers test, quote unquote, that we're still testing.
They're already doing it right now, by the way. They're starting to keep. They're testing they're testing their new matchmaking way. They're testing their ranking system right now, via via you watching you play. Right now, they put it in their mid-chapter update. They said in this update, they're starting to keep track of through the MMR right now. They're testing it.
And the ruin change. I mean, reach out to Behavior if you don't like this, and tell them that you think this is a bad idea.
See, this is what's harmful. As much I love Interact, but this is the harmful thing that he said. Reach out to Behavior and tell them to stop this. This is actively telling players to campaign against something that's good for the game. That's something that we need. And if enough people do it, I'm worried that they won't do it. So we need more people to fucking say, hey, dude, this is what the game needs. We need more people to not only say it's what the game needs, but people not to sugarcoat it. This is what the game needs. There's no other way to say it. This is what the game needs. If you want the game to realistically stay alive, this is what the game needs. And I remember Scott Jund saying you'd never get done doing it before the game dies. You really don't think this game's going to get a sequel on PlayStation 5? Or just a re-release? You don't think this game's going to keep going? Of course it's going to keep going. This is Behavior's only big cash maker. Of course it's going to keep going. This is how Behavior is still in business. This game right here. This is how they've gotten a huge source of finances. Of course they're going to keep this game alive. Behavior's going to do everything in their fucking power to keep this game alive because it's the only game that they made that anybody gives a fuck about. Facts.
I really need everybody to just message them, send them a physical letter.
No.
I'm sure they have a mailing address somewhere. Tweet them, leave a comment on the forums, do something, because it's a bad idea.
We're campaigning to stop something. Again, I'm not saying Behavior's fucking method's gonna be perfect. It's probably gonna fucking suck ass, knowing them. But to actively campaign against something the game desperately needs is just not something I agree with, dude. It's just I can't do that. The game needs a change. And again, this is good. The system we have right now is good to everybody. Everybody's happy with it. Are we fucking serious? Are we fucking serious that this is the best thing we got? That we can't do any better than this, and we should stick with this the rest of our fucking lives? The ranking system we have right now. That this is the best we can do, folks. This is the best we can do. Shut up. Don't ask us to do anything else. No, fuck that.
Can't compare 4 survivors to the kill. It literally doesn't make sense.
It does make sense. I already explained that one. I'm not doing that again.
Also, this thing in the future, this is horrible. Different ratings for each killer, bad idea.
Different ratings for each killer, bad idea. Why? There is no universe where that's a bad idea. Okay, I'm gonna let the video play because I'm gonna let him fully explain why this is a bad idea in his mind. I already know why he thinks it's a bad idea, but I'm gonna let him fully explain it before I have a counterpoint.
So there's basic fundamentals for killers: running tiles, knowing how to get through pallets, knowing how to mind game tiles, knowing how to pressure the map, target selection, all that good stuff. If they go through with this as well, then I'm going to be basically like a rank 20 pig, because I don't play the pig. I don't like the pig very much. Anyone who's watched my stream knows that. I don't really play clown. I don't really enjoy clown. I play like a ton of Billy, a ton of Demogorgon, a ton of Ghostface, Wraith, whatever. So I'm going to be high rank in those, but as soon as I'm like, okay, hey, let's try out a game of pig, they're going to put me against baby survivors, and I'm going to bully the ever-loving shit out of them. Without even trying to, because I just am better at the game. This is dumb. Sure, I understand the argument of, oh, but I'm a trapper main, and I really want to practice nurse, but every time I get on nurse, I don't really understand her, so I get beat up. Yeah, shit happens.
Okay, let me that's about halfway through his argument. Let me cut it off right there. Okay, So, and there's precedent. He's saying that if you do this, the way it'll work is that if he doesn't play the pig, he would get on the pig and then bully a bunch of rank 20s. Okay, let's talk about why I don't think that's accurate. First of all, here's what they should do. When we do a transition from this to MMR, first of all, it's tracking your skill right now. And first, they said, here's what they said. They say in the thing, they don't just say, oh, we're going to do this for every killer right away on release. What they said was, this is a plan for the future. We're not doing it right now. Then, so don't expect that to happen when it first comes out, they said. Okay, so here's what we have to work with. Right now they're tracking your skill, not through killer, but just through skill level in general. Every time you win a game or lose a game, it's tracking it through the own individualized MMR, depending on your account, not the killer. Okay, so what we're doing here is, if I play a game as Freddy, it has the same impact on my skill rating as a game as Myers does. That's what they're doing right now. They say eventually that's the way we want to go. Okay, so here's what you would do. So in order to not do that and not get in the way of what he just said, so we never have to play as pig against rank 20s, because I know what he's saying. There are fundamentals that go across, that transcend killer unless your name is the nurse. You know, like even the 110 movement speed killers have those fundamentals. Unless your name is the nurse, you have these fundamentals. Okay, but here's the way that it works. Here's the way that it should work. First of all, get rid of rank reset. That's the first thing. That's the first step to dealing with that, is getting rid of rank reset. So the fact that you never, because if they do go in the individualized approach for killer, you'd have to play every killer an absurd amount to keep their level up to where a rank reset would like matter. So they didn't specifically say they were getting rid of rank reset, but they should if they're not already. Okay, so rank reset goes away. Bye-bye. I bet against that anyway from day one. No more rank reset. Bye-bye. Okay, so rank reset's gone. So the MMR system, we don't have any more rank reset, okay? When you make the transition over, what you do to deal with the fact that all killers have basic fundamentals is you put every single killer you give every single killer the individualized MMR rating that you already have for the player. It's very, very easy, very, very simple. All you would do is, if the killer, we have an MMR rating that's telling you that the killer that we're playing with, that this killer is a top level killer, and you individualize it for killer, you give every single killer the top level MMR. So that way, when you go, again, what that would do is it would prevent your pig from ever playing against rank 20s. Ever! But you could play as nurse, get your ass kicked a little bit, and go down. And then that, like, do you see what I'm saying? You could play nurse and understand, okay, in order to actually get better at nurse, I need to go in as her, lose a few games, play my dues, get my MMR as her down, so I can play against people on my level. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me. That way, you get rid of rank reset, and then you get, so your pig will never go down ever unless you play as her, and then your nurse it can go down.
Dude, that's why you practice. Like, it's a bad idea.
He says shit happens, that's why you practice, remember? Okay, so shit happens, that's why you practice, but then when I play as nurse, I put all that time in to practice and get good with her. Scott John wants to penalize us, and like, if we do an MMR system that's healthy, nurse would get penalized after all the practice I just did to learn her. You play nurse, you reap the benefits, you get the rewards. You want practice and then fucking penalize players that play her because she just happens to be good. And Scott John's world, we're a very balanced MMR. Like, you see the problem with that, right? You have one guy who's telling us just practice, get good with nurse, and then another guy wants to penalize players for using her. Like, you see, these people already don't have a solid foundation to where they want to criticize an MMR system. Both of them are coming at it from entirely different directions. The people that are criticizing an MMR system don't have a set foundation to criticize it. They have all these arguments, all of them are wrong, and all of them are different. Because they don't, it sounds like a religion, bruh. They're criticizing, like, that's how bad it is. I think religions are more wrong, but still, like, that's what it sounds like. They're coming at it from entirely different directions and they're all wrong. Sounds like religion to me.
You want to practice against high ranks, high skill players anyways, because that's how you learn how to actually play well.
I completely disagree with that. Again, practicing, okay, if practicing against high level opponents was how you learn stuff, there would never be a trading mode in fighting games. There's a reason where you may not want the person to be top tier MLG pallet looper 20XX right away. And the same reason that if you're trying to lab and learn a character like Joker who just came out, you're trying to learn Joker, there's a reason you don't want Sentry on fire and 25 fucking ways to keep you out. You're trying to learn. That doesn't help you learn your character's punish game. In any game ever. You don't want to face top tier MLG Cetrion zoning 20XX right away when you're playing as Joker. Because you have to learn, okay, what does my character do? How do I approach the situation? And again, when you are playing against somebody significantly better than you, you are not learning anything. Which is, like, if I wanted to practice Nurse right now, I'd fucking practice Nurse. But when you are playing against survivors, the Nurse has a completely different skill cap, a completely different game than the rest of the killers and how she moves. So if I were to go in and play MLG Pallet Looper XXX, I lose significantly. I didn't learn anything else about Nurse. I just learned I can't fucking play her. That's all you learn when you fucking do that, bruh. There's nothing. There's no precedence for getting better at Nurse through for that. So, but again, I understand your argument about how, I shouldn't just be thrown in with rank 20s either. I understand that as well. So again, this is how I would fix it. An individualized killer MMR, starting with the MMR that you previously got when you were just a single player, like when they were all grouped together, it would mean that you go in as Nurse, you play 20XX pallet looper underscore MLG, and then you lose, and then your MMR goes down to the point where you're playing only the people that you should be playing against. If I wanted to learn Nurse, I would understand that I would have to get my butt kicked a little bit to lower my MMR. That's called... That is shit happens right there. That's when you can say shit happens. When you go, okay, the MMR, this is how we're going to do it, but in order to prevent your Freddy or Demogorgon or somebody you don't play to go against rank 20 noobs, this is how we're going to have to do it. And if you want to learn Nurse, that's what you do. You want to learn Spirit, that's what you do. You just go in, you play the best of the best, you lose, and then you go down until you gradually start finding your footing with the character. That is how it should be done. And again, Behavior hasn't said any of this. This is all in theory. This is how it should be done. If Behavior does it like that, I will agree that that's a bad thing to do. But the Behavior hasn't said anything about their MMR system. They're being vague as fuck, which is why all these discussions even happen in the first place. Because Behavior doesn't know what they're doing, because they're a piece of shit themselves. Let's not just fucking forget that about Behavior. They're garbage too, bruh. Behavior doesn't know what they're doing about anything. Intermittent. I'm getting my charger for my laptop. Whoop. There we go. So yeah, Behavior doesn't know shit either. Don't listen to Behavior. And even then, because they haven't put anything out, so there's no grounds to even have these discussions anyway. So I don't know why we're writing angry letters to Behavior's doorstep and they haven't fucking said anything yet, dude. They have no specifics about their system other than the concept, and the concept is good, which is why I'm like finding myself agreeing with most of the things that they're saying in their fucking thing, because except for the fact that you can't directly compare Killer and Survivor, I already took care of that one, but they haven't released anything specific. They're just saying their intent, and their intention on paper is actually okay with this one. So I'm not gonna just criticize it because they said it. I'm not gonna write an angry letter. This is what the game needs. This is the best decision they made in 7 months.
Is by practicing against people who know what the hell they're doing. If you're allowing you to practice, if you're practicing against ranked 20s, you're not gonna learn anything. You need to practice.
I disagree with that. When you're playing as Nurse, there is something that practicing against ranked 20s can teach you. Again, like there is something you can learn by practicing Nurse at rank 20s. You can learn movement, target select, like things that, okay, target selection not necessarily, but you can learn about, like, you know, movement, when to switch targets, how much, maybe not necessarily that, but, like, you know, the point is, like, You can learn stuff about blank spacing relative between you and the person next to you without the person being top tier nurse looper MLG. You can learn about the spacing between you and the person next to you. That's what you can learn from practicing rank 20. You can a moving target gives you a target for your blinks that you can go for in your like, you know, maybe hit and go, haha, I got it, I hit the blink. And again, I don't know why I just even fucking addressed that, because again, you probably shouldn't be playing rank 20s, but like I would argue that like my brother has an internet thing on his account too. And like when I did my older series, the Nurse Files, which I should probably get back on that to learn Nurse. I would only play Nurse on his account, and I learned more about playing the Nurse by playing on his account than I would have if I was playing on my account. Because I'm learning the Nurse because the game can slow down for a fucking second, and I have more than 5 fucking minutes to learn the character because I'm getting fucking gen rushed when I play as the Nurse at the games that I'm playing, because we don't have Hex Ruin, and I'm not really that great with her because I don't fucking practice, because I don't play her, and I would like to play her, but I can't play her. You know what I mean? I've learned more about the Nurse and the Huntress. I used to practice Huntress on my brother's account too. I learned more about those characters through practicing against the rank 20s than I did against practicing against the people who knew what they were doing. Because if you practice against someone who knows what they're doing, you're going to be in the game for 5 minutes, and it's just a free D rank. Now, if you wanted to intentionally D rank, go right ahead, be my guest. But fucking shit happens, right, bruh? Bruh, I threw my phone. I don't know where it went. My phone's how I was watching all this garbage. Where did I put it? Why am I so dumb, bruh? Embarrassing, bruh. Let's see here. Intermission. Another intermission. Where did I put the damn thing? It's probably blending in somewhere. I put it down and it's probably blending in somewhere, dude. What did I do with it? I'm super stupid. Hold that thought. I'm ready to move on. But I don't have the tools to do it. We have... Fine. Alright. Call my lost phone, bruh. This is probably the dumbest thing that's ever happened to me on a live stream. Okay, fuck it, I can't find it. We're gonna have to pull it up on YouTube. Lost your fucking phone on a live stream, bruh. Okay, so let's look up, what are we doing? Interact? That's what we're doing right now. Okay. Okay, so we were here, right?
This is a bad idea. We really need everybody to just message them, oh, but I'm a trapper main and I really want to practice Nurse, but every time because that's how you learn how to actually play well, is by practicing against people who know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, but at the cost of a free D rank, that's bullshit on any system, dude.
Make a forum account. The entire thing is a mess. It's a horrible idea.
Like, why is it a horrible idea? I still haven't heard anything about why it's a horrible idea that it can't be easily countered with 2 seconds of logical thought. By message behavior and say that it's bad.
Twitter account. Make a forum. Whether the killer's bringing some dumb ass survivors can bring. Whether there's too many factors.
Too many factors, again.
All the different killers, all the different powers, all the different items survivors can bring.
Killers are just characters in a fighting game. Just look at it like a fighting game roster and you'll see why the character shouldn't matter. The add-ons, slight penalty, perks, you don't do anything with those.
All the different perks survivors can bring.
So
whether
that's that.
Are queued up together or solo.
Queued up together, you just adjust the MMR accordingly. If the killer loses, there's less penalty because it's not fair. Like, seriously.
The killer's bringing some dumb add-ons.
Or ideally, you balance the game around SWF, and then you don't have to worry about it. But you know, since we're not doing that, then we have that. That's the only reason we have to accommodate for it. We should be just balancing around the fucking thing. But whatever.
Iridescent head or Insta-saw Billy or I don't know. They're playing Pig and they're running Amanda's letter and camping one of the boxes so your head pops. You're gonna lose MMR for that because you died. What if
again? This is a Scott Jund argument. You're gonna lose a GSP if you falcon up B into a Nest Yo-Yo. It's just something that fucking happens, bro. We're even using your own statement. Shit happens, bro. That's just what happens. It's just the cost of again. The system's not gonna be 100% accurate. It's not gonna accommodate for everything. It's gonna put you in the general idea you need to be in. That's what this thing does.
You get hooked and your teammates are just like, nah, fuck it, I'm working on gens, and you die on your first hook. You're losing.
If they do that, if the team does that and they lose, everybody loses MMR. And then if they also do that and you were getting camped, then if you were getting camped when that happens, and then they get out, your MMR would go up as well. If your team wins, your MMR would go up. And if you were the guy that kited the killer most especially, which if you're camping, probably. If you're getting camped, probably. Because that means the game would probably be 5 minutes if the survivors were good.
Losing MMR, you didn't do anything wrong. Your team just sucked. Like, what if you're playing killer and you get Ormond, and you have survivors that just aren't as good as you, but it's Ormond, so who cares? They just do a gen by the time it takes you to walk across the map.
Yeah, we should be balancing the maps accordingly. That has something to do with Ormond. That's the fact that Mount Ormond isn't balanced versus what we should be doing with the balancing. Fix Mount Ormond. It's very easy, dude. Like seriously, the fact that we're bringing up the maps in this conversation, it shows you the benefits of this possible system. Where we're going, hey, what about if you get killer and you're on Mount Ormond? Yeah, look at that. The system's telling you to fix Ormond. Look at that. The system isn't even in the game yet, and we already know Ormond needs to be fixed. Would you look at that? Good job. Good job, MMR. We already know we have to fix Ormond because somebody said that you might exist. Ridiculous, dude. You can't see the obvious benefits of an MMR system. Like seriously, the obvious fucking benefits. Ridiculous.
This is a horrible idea. They should not put it in. Please message behavior and tell them it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
You hate it. You do not want them to put it through. And please behavior reconsider and find some other way. I don't know what the other way is, but this ain't it, Chief.
Why? I haven't heard one good thing about why it's not the way to do it. So again, you want to keep this garbage? You want to keep this garbage? Absolutely fucking not, dude. I'd rather die than keep this garbage. Okay, so I'm hoping that Tru3ta1ent is going to say something. Love or hate Tru3ta1ent, I think his eye for the game is the best of any fucking Dead by Daylight YouTuber that's on the internet. So let's fucking see how this works. Tru3ta1ent is 26 minutes, so I don't know how much of this I'll be actually watched. Maybe I'll watch the whole thing. Who knows? I'm hoping that he's going to say something a lot more sensible, because I haven't watched this one yet, but Tru3ta1ent's eye for the game in the past has been the best. So I looked to see if Oats Davara had anything. He didn't seem to have anything yet. So I'm going to just see what Tru says, and hopefully this is more sensible than the rest of them.
Know what I'm going to talk about, I'll just read it and then I'll just talk about stuff, right? That's what I do. We've observed a growing community concern about matchmaking in the recent months. Right, so The only concern that I've seen is less killers playing, so survivors' queues have gone up.
See, that's actually interesting. That the very first thing he says is like actually more interesting than anything Scott Jund or Interact said about how the only problem with matchmaking right now in terms of queue times is the fact that killers are leaving. Well, why are killers leaving? Well, because you're hitting us with nerfs. That's why. You're hitting us with nerfs, and every high-level killer knows that we don't fucking deserve it. We need buffs. The killer role in this game needs a universal buff. And you're nerfing us. Ridiculous.
And that's due to killer being less fun. With all these changes.
Yep.
Matchmaking wait times have exceeded our target limits, and we've seen rank disparities fluctuate. In this status update, we will go in detail on factors impacting the matchmaking, our current matchmaking system, and our future solutions. And there it says a little graph thing, which, whatever. Fairness, opponent, teammate skills, time, ping, server location. A growing concern. It's a triangle. Looks very professional. I'm not sure if it really means anything. Does it mean anything?
He doesn't even think their triangle means anything. I love him.
Okay, here.
Okay, come on, Tru. Say something smart.
Above are the 3 variable factors in matchmaking, with a 4th being the number of players in each role. The 4th not included.
Yeah.
With an ideal ratio of 4 survivors to 1 killer at all times, when dealing with matchmaking, we need to decide how much to focus on each of the factors. If we focus on one point, the other points will see some sort of impact. For example, if we focus on time, your matches will likely end up being less fair.
Which is what they do.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know how the new matchmaking is going to fix this, to be honest, but okay. And you might get paired with people further away. Wait. Oh, okay, yeah. So if you focus on time, it's going to negate this and negate this to have time, let's say, lower.
Yeah.
Right? So these will still be far out there, and that'll be lower. They should have shown this as the... This is like an infographic, right?
Yeah.
This is... Oh, you can't see this. This is an infographic. And they didn't keep using it, but for example, they're saying if time is shorter, it'd be like here, but fairness and ping would probably go out further, right? This is what an infographic is.
Well, I mean, I think what their chart is like, for like in the corners of their chart would be like if you wanted the ideal for every single one. Like if on their chart, if you're in the middle of the triangle, you've like it's kind of fair. It's decently fair. It took a decent amount of time to get with decent server pay. If you focus on fairness of the match, it's going to take a lot. If you focus 100% on the fairness, it's going to take a long time to get the match, and then the ping might not be very good because they're just looking exclusively at like stuff like that, the fairness of the match. But if you're focusing on ping, all they care about is like they don't have any rank or time consideration at all. You know, that's what it's saying. So like every game right now is being taken far away from fairness and has to do with time and server ping. So it's kind of like in the middle of those two while ignoring fairness.
Finish it, but whatever. That's graphic design shit. But yeah, that's what would kind of happen, I guess. For example, if we focus on timing matches, will likely end up being less fair. If you get paired with people further away, dedicated servers helped us ensure a stable connection with over 9% of players being put into matches with 150 ping and under. Right, so that's what they aim for, it looks like. Our goal is to get you into a match as quickly as possible with a good connection without compromising too much on fair.
At 1-800 contacts, we're here for people like Shauna, heroic master of the budget.
Okay, we're listening to Tru.
Fairness. Interesting. So the goal, from what I see here, is time is the most important.
Yeah.
And good connection is the second most important. Fairness
is last.
Is the least.
Yeah.
Just the way they worded it.
Yeah, and it shows. And it shows, too. It shows through the current system we have right now that fairness is not something they fucking give two fucking shits about. And it shows. And that's frustrating to people that want to play this game at the high level. It's very frustrating.
Quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So that's just positive.
That's number
With
one.
a good connection.
Number two.
Still quite positive. Without compromising too much on fairness.
Yeah.
I look into the wording.
Yeah.
Compromising too much on fairness means that this is the least of the.
But fairness is something that should never be compromised on. I said that in my last video.
In my opinion, this don't want fairness, but it's the least. Getting you in a game with a good connection is the most important.
Awful. I disagree with that.
It's a difficult task in a game like Dead by Daylight, where both sides have different objectives and cannot be directly compared to one another. We've attempted to address this in the past with the emblem system.
Yeah, that was horrible.
But
that worked.
Further review, we've concluded that rank does not directly correlate to skill.
We're laughing. Tru's laughing. He does that.
Oh my god.
We're laughing. He's laughing. You're laughing. You're laughing. Dead by Daylight developers are making a fool of themselves, and you're laughing.
There is people at red ranks who are worse than other people at red ranks, but that's because red ranks is the furthest you can get to.
Yes.
There is not
Correct.
people at green ranks who force past red ranks in skill.
Yes.
Because they can't get to red ranks.
Yes.
The only people in green ranks who surpass red ranks in skill are people who purposely D-rank to green ranks.
Yes.
Oh man. Yep, okay, sure, whatever. Green ranks better than red, even though they can't get to red.
Yep.
Because they keep, I don't know, losing or something somehow.
Okay, so I agree with that statement when he said that rank doesn't correlate to skill, but it kind of does at the same time. Because it kind of does. To ignore the fact that the rank only starts to mean less when you rank up and get to the high ranks. That's when it starts to mean less. And when you are from, I'd say, from gray to green is when it doesn't. It is when it actually helps. It's when you start hitting purple that it starts to matter more, I guess. And again, like, even debatably not even purple, though. Like, there's a fine argument for saying only red ranks matter. Like, there's a perfect argument for that. Because purple ranks, they're still at purple, they're not at red yet either. So, like, there's I think that's probably even what he's saying, that purple doesn't even matter. So it's like, yeah, but I think purple ranks are a little slept on, just because it's where I've been the most, and, like, I played red ranks to the point where ranking up is kind of hard to do and impossible. Because it's not that I'm playing purple ranks, it's that the matchmaking system is impossible for me to rank up. Which is why I think the purple ranks are slept on. If I was playing against purple ranks every single game and couldn't get to red rank, that would be one thing. But the fact is, I'm playing rank 2s every fucking game I play. So it's like I'm already playing the best of the best anyway. That's why I think purple ranks are slightly slept on in the killer community, because it's hard for me to evaluate where I would be if I was playing in a fair matchmaking system. So, if Tru3ta1ent's argument is the fact that purple ranks killers aren't great either, then I would disagree with that. But I don't think that's what he's saying, though. But if in case he is, I'm not just going to lick his ass. I would disagree with that statement.
While a player who plays a lot will tend to be better than someone who plays very little, obviously, that's literal common sense.
Yeah.
There are also players who are good at the game but don't play enough to reach the upper ranks. Bullshit. The new rank reset, I call bullshit on that. The new rank reset makes it insane. Can you see this, what I'm reading? I'm zoomed in kind of a weird position, so I need to kind of look at what you're seeing. The new rank reset has made it easier than ever to rank up now.
I agree with that.
Seriously.
I agree with that. Rank reset has made it easier to rank up and consistently stay at those red ranks. But also, if you don't play for an entire month, it will still derank you. But, like, he is right when he says that the ranking system is more lenient now than it ever has been before. That is true. That is true.
You need to win 5 games. If you get to red ranks one season, you need to win 5 games in a month to get back to red ranks.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding?
Well, okay, so remember, Tru's win condition is you have to pip. That's Tru's win condition. You don't necessarily have to win 5 games. Whereas if this MMR system comes out and defines the win condition as just killing the survivors, Tru's win condition that he uses right now won't actually matter anymore. Because if in the MMR system, if killing 3 survivors is a win, that's a win, and then Oates' win condition will be the way that you decide who's the best killer in the game. Once behavior releases a win condition, it might even affect the tier lists a little bit. But I think this MMR system could affect the tier list more than we think, just because of the win condition aspect of it. But remember, Tru's definition of winning here is that you have to pip. So you can win more than according to me, I see what he means when he says that pipping is winning, but at the same time, like I really do. Like, even if I win the game and then I don't pip, I'm frustrated. So I get that aspect, but at the same time, I also understand the counter argument, and I think the frustrations that come from not pipping are from the fact that you should have pipped because you won the match. I think that's where the I should have pipped. That's why I think the frustration comes with the not pipping, because you should have pipped. I think that's where the unfairness and the being angry comes in. It's not you're angry at the result. You're angry that the game did not award the result. I think that's where the problems come in.
So many games. I don't believe that. I don't believe that personally.
But I do see what he's saying, though. It's still more lenient than ever before on ranking up. So his overall point still stands. I just wanted to make that clear about his win condition.
If you're not playing as much as someone who is playing a lot, obviously they're going to be better than you. You're not just this hidden wonder child, like who's... Hey, look, take out one of those purple mattresses. Is just amazing at the game, but you don't play much. If you do, you just like fly through the... But even then you'd fly through the ranks, so it goes against what they're talking about. Because if you're amazing, but you hardly play, you'd still fly through the ranks anyway when you do play.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, I don't believe this shit, personally. But whatever. I don't...
No, I mean, I understand what he's saying. And like, the reason that I'm not flying through the ranks, even though I'm a red rank on Switch, is that, you know, I'm not some kind of prodigy. I'm not going to ever pretend I'm some kind of prodigy. It's a combination of I'm not a prodigy, and the Switch player base is not as good as the player base on the PlayStation, and there's more SWF on the PlayStation. Like, there's a lot of factors that like, with the amount I play around the same amount on both systems, but there's a reason I'm a red rank on Switch and a purple rank on PlayStation. There's a reason for that. The red ranks on the Switch are less, they mean less. I'm not going to ever deny that. I'm not some kind of super prodigy at the game, because if I was a super prodigy, I'd already be at the red ranks. I'm not some kind of prodigy, but I think that's what makes, you know, like, my opinion, I'd say, I don't want to say mean more, because no opinion means more than any other, but I think the opinions of average killers are worth listening to as well. And especially in this situation where, again, I do not know where I would be if this system was fair. The fact is, the system is objectively not fair. It's not fair. It's not that, like, it's not like I'm a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum. It's not fair. It's objectively not fair and can be proven that it's not fair. And it's so not fair that behavior even admitted it's not fair. The emblem system doesn't directly correlate to skill. The emblem system is what has to do with pips. So they have admitted themselves that they've admitted that it's not working. It's not working because it's not fair.
All stuff they believe, to be honest. But sure, whatever. To help improve the fairness factor without sacrificing wait times or pings, we'll be making 2 changes. The first is a new system to better reflect a player's skill level. Basically, just a new emblem system.
Yeah.
Emblem system were the first way they attempted to guess someone's skill level.
Yeah.
So we got to see what they believe were like a skill thing, and it was busted. It was busted.
It didn't work.
It was better.
It didn't work.
Else.
The emblem system is a failure. It's a failure. Blood points were more accurate. The emblem system is a complete and total failure.
Given us, so that's why I used it, because it's the best thing that they've got. But it was still busted on many killers. This time it's going to be hidden, so we can't even see how busted it is.
Yeah, I don't like that. I can already tell this by his face he doesn't like that. I don't like that either. I don't want it to be hidden. And I even think they have to make it visible eventually. Because if it's hidden, it's not going to work.
And the second change will be to matchmaking system to create fairer matches in their sense of what's fair. They still have Survivor Friends in the game with no debuff.
Yeah.
But they're talking about fair.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But yeah, you see, but see, my problem is, I'm thinking I can tell he's hesitant. My point is, my point is that if you put all this in and it goes in right now, the fact that the game is unbalanced should be more clear than it has ever been. So behavior should be nerfing survivors if they're listening to the results of this, if it goes in, which is why I hope it goes in, because if this system goes in at the beginning, it's gonna suck for Killer, but it's a long-term strategy for Killer. I as a Killer main support this as a long-term strategy. We're going to go in first. It's probably going to suck ass because we're going to get paired with SWF a whole bunch. We're going to be, especially with the killers at the high ranks. But then, as the behavior should see the imbalance and then fix it. If behavior doesn't fix the imbalance, this is an incredible waste of time. I would agree with that. If behavior has no plans to fix the imbalance of the game, this is a waste of our time. I think that's the only way that people that are against this actually win, is if behavior doesn't fix anything. This is, I said on my why competitive Dead by Daylight, why Dead by Daylight should be balanced for around the 1%. Getting the first step to competitive balancing is a new ranking system. So when we get a new ranking system, I'm not gonna just inherently shit on it. I think we need to see if it'll work. I agree. I don't like it being invisible, so we can't analyze it. But again, anything's better than what we got right now. Anything.
This shit just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. It doesn't. You've got Survivor Friends in the game. That's definitely not fair.
Yeah, it's not.
It isn't.
It's not.
It's no negative.
It should be balanced. They should be balancing the game around it, but they're not. Since they're not balancing the game around it, that's why it's not fair. Survive with Friends is not fair. It's not. Definitely not fair. And I'm hoping behavior will balance around it after this new matchmaking system gets in and they see how unbalanced their game is. Because I still think behavior lives in this fantasy world where rank 1 killer has equally chance of winning as rank 1 survivor. With a 4-man SWF, I think they live in that fantasy world. I really, really do. I think we're looking at Tru's looking at this from the perspective where it's incredibly obvious because has common sense. The fact is, behavior has shown nothing to prove they have the same common sense. Nothing. They've shown nothing that they have that common sense. So that's why I think this is still a necessary evil, at least right now.
You're talking about you want fairness. I just don't get it.
He doesn't get it because Tru3ta1ent is meta. He's big brain. He understands the fact that if you want to make the game more fair, you have to balance it. Which again, let's talk about one thing. If this game was getting balanced for the top 1% right now, then this fucking system, this flawed mess up here, probably wouldn't even matter. But the fact is, the reason that this system is flawed, nobody wants to talk about this, but the reason that this system right now is flawed has more to do with the fact that the game is an unbalanced fucking disaster. That's what it has to do with. The game is an unbalanced fucking disaster, and if you were to fix the balancing, this would be inherently more fair, because these purple ranks that are stuck down here wouldn't be facing such imbalance. We would be on equal footing. The people that are red rank killer have the ability to adjust to the fact that the game is not balanced better than the purple ranks. That's why they are red ranks. The people that are purple ranks are here because we cannot deal with the fact that the game isn't balanced. That's why we're here. And yes, it does have to do with being slightly worse. Again, I'm not going to pretend I'm some god, and the only reason I'm trapped down here is because I get hit with fucking 4-man SWF every time. I could probably play a little better myself. But the point is, down here, this game is inherently more unfair than something like Mortal Kombat, which I talked about earlier, how I have to work with flawless blocking later, or Smash Brothers. Because the fact is that the meta in this game, the 4-man comm, the killer has no chance of beating that. Whereas in Smash Brothers, you could, every matchup in Smash Brothers, I mean, unless you're Little Mac, of course, unless you're picking an inherent bottom tier, playing killer right now is the equivalent of picking a bottom tier in a fighting game and expecting to face an S tier and do well. The problem with that is It's playing killer is that. Playing one role. Only 2 characters can even hold their own in killer. And even then, it's not even that great anymore. Because of the nerfs that happened to Hex Ruin and the 2 killers in general. When you're playing in Mortal Kombat or Smash, you have other options. In Killer is a specific role that needs buffed. Buffing a specific role is different from buffing a specific character. But that's beside the point. Killer as a role needs buffed right now. And Survivors as a collective role need nerfed. That's where the differences start showing up. But again, Tru is big brain, so Tru understands all of this. Behavior does not. Which is what I'm hoping if we put this MMR system in the game, it will be more effective at communicating that the fucking high-skilled killers are losing to survivors that aren't as good as they are. Because of the game's core imbalance between the 2 opposing sides. The game's core versus characters. Behavior thinks characters are weak. The core of the game is weak. The core of the game needs addressed. And that's not getting fixed, and that's why the game is a fucking mess right now. The game is a mess because of an MMR system. The game's a mess because of core imbalance. Core. Mortal Kombat and Smash as a core are balanced. Much more balanced than Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight's core is unbalanced. That's the main difference here. SWF isn't fair because they exploit problems with the core of the game. Whereas if you get counterpicked in a fighting game, your character is being exploited. Exploiting the core versus exploiting the character is entirely different. Entirely.
It doesn't. The actions don't follow what I'm reading.
Yes, that's true. The actions of the devs don't follow the reading. That's also true.
But anyway,
they don't care about fairness one bit.
Going forward,
if the devs cared about fairness, they wouldn't have nerfed Hex Ruin.
We'll use a hidden skill rating for matchmaking purposes, so it's going to be a hidden skill rating. We don't know what skill they're putting us at. Because it's hidden.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Your skill rating will increase when you do well, and decrease when you do poorly. We all know that. That's just normal MMR. Usually with MMR, and I think they go over this, usually with MMR, your skill will go much higher if you beat people with a higher MMR, and it'll go much lower if you're much higher than someone who's beating you as well. So it kind of levels out. So say someone's like, you know, 100 MMR and you go against 101, you'll get like 3 MMR because they're quite close, or something like that, right? If you're 100 MMR and you go against someone who's 20 MMR, you'll probably get 1 MMR because you beat them and you should beat them, right? Maybe, actually, wait, I'll change that. 100 MMR versus 100 MMR, you'll get 30 MMR. 100 MMR against 20 MMR and you win, you'll get 1 MMR. 100 MMR against 200 MMR and you win, you get 75 MMR. But if you lose versus someone who's down here, you lose a lot more. So 100 MMR against 20 MMR, you lose like 70 MMR. 100 MMR, 100 MMR, you lose 25 MMR. 100 MMR against 200 MMR.
You see, I support that. What he's saying right now is something that I don't understand why Scott Jund and the fucking Interact have such a big problem with it. Now again, maybe he's about to slam it, but like what he's saying right now sounds fine to me.
MMR, you lose 1 MMR, right? You get me? That's kind of how it usually works. So that's just normal, right? Say MMR fast 5 times. Hopefully you get that, right? I mean, it's just normal MMR. To keep this as fair as possible, the system will predict the outcome of the match based on the difference in your opponent's rating and just the amount your rating changes. So it's kind of the same thing I was just talking about. It's normal. This is normal. Just go off Street Fighter. Street Fighter does this. In Street Fighter 4, obviously.
You see, and you know, look what he's doing. He's comparing it to other games, which Scott Jund and Interact just don't think you can do. Like, see, Tru is already, even the first 9 minutes of this video, coming at this from a much more reasonable perspective. And as you can see, he's not slamming it. He's not hating it. When you have reason like this, you can clearly see that this is not an awful thing for the game. It's not awful.
I'm pretty sure it does it in Street Fighter 5. It's the same shit. If your rating is higher than your opponent's, your rating will increase less if you win and drop more if you lose. Literally what I just said. Yeah, this is the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Thank you!
The best MMR way. I think this is the best way, but I'm not sure. But this is the best way to do it.
Yes.
This is basically what I said. It shouldn't be hidden though. You should see
Yes, you should see it.
See what your MMR is.
You should see
because
it.
That way you can judge how well the game is actually putting you with people in your MMR.
Yes.
And you can see...
Because the fact that they're, like, hiding it is the scary part.
You can see it that way. If it's all hidden, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what the fuck's going on in the background.
Yeah, you don't know what if you are playing, if it's hidden, we can't analyze how much it's working. And I've always had that criticism of it, and behavior needs to make sure it's not hidden. If they want this to fucking work. Or if they just want to hide it from us, I guess they can do that too, because they'd be assholes. But if they don't want to be assholes and they want us to actually give a fuck, they need to make it revealed. Playing with it hidden is awful. And again, if this goes in and it doesn't see any better, the last thing I want is for Scott Junnan to interact to get to go, haha, we were right about the MMR if the MMR goes in and fails. The fact is, when it's hidden, we can't analyze it. We can't agree with, we are in no stage to agree or disagree with you. And when you get to say, MMR's broken, see, it didn't work. Well, it's hidden, so how are we to know? Behavior's hiding it from us because they don't trust their own ability to do it right without getting thousands of people bitching at them. Because that's all we do, right? We're just bitching. We are bitching. We're bitching. We don't care about the game. We just bitch and bitch just to bitch and bitch. I bitched for 2 hours and 18 minutes already. All I do is bitch about Dead by Daylight.
Ever. So you could go against really bad players and just go up 1 MMR. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You can tell if they're bad, if you've got a lot of time in the game. I can tell just from looking at a team if they're quite bad or whatever.
Yeah.
But someone who's new to the game won't have a clue. The hidden part is stupid, agree. Really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It should not be hidden. Oh, you want that? There it is. This way, even if you aren't perfectly matched with people of the exact same skill level, your rating will not change unfairly, and you will never know.
And you will never know. Don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. You don't know. As long as if there's no grounds to identify if it's working or not, it's just do you believe behavior interactive or not? And that's my problem with that is I don't trust behavior with a fucking fistful of Cheerios. Why would I trust them with my MMR?
In the future, we would like to extend the system to support different ratings for each killer.
I agree with that.
Allowing you to practice a new killer without being immediately matched against high-skilled players. This may not be included in the initial launch of the feature. So what will happen here, and I talked about this earlier, is if you're a 10,000 hour nurse main, you know everything about the maps and the game and the perks and everything, but you've mainly played nurse, and you pretty much have never played doctor or whatever, right? You jump on doctor and you'll go against day 0 potatoes for a good amount of time. Because you're 0 MMR, you're only going to get a bit because of the same MMR as you. And then you're going to go here. Until you go against a higher MMR team, you'll fly up then. But until you hit that, you're going against potatoes, until you go up. And who knows how high the MMR even goes as well. Hiding MMR isn't logical. No. Hiding shows deception. I don't like it.
Yes, hiding does show deception. Okay, he didn't really specify how much he cares about the fact that you're playing against the low ranks. But again, if you do care, if he's gonna say anything about how he cares about playing against the low ranks, so again, you just set the doctor MMR to the same MMR as the nurse and have it organically go down until he finds that footing. That's what you would do to counter that. If you really don't want them to play against the low player base.
It should show you what you are.
Well, yeah, hiding shows deception on behavior's part. They shouldn't do it. Completely disagree with that.
What you are, right? It should show. I think they're going to still show your rank, but it's not showing who you're going against. It's not showing your MMR either. Anyway.
Rank doesn't matter anymore, remember. That little number, but once the MMR system comes out, that number in the corner is going to be useless.
Where were I? Oh yeah, here we go. Where are we there? Okay. Additionally, to make sure your matches are as fair as possible, we will be switching over to a batch matchmaking.
Okay.
What is this? Batch matchmaking, okay. So they're changing the matchmaking a bit. So once again, like, making sure the matches are as fair as possible. So this is the thing they're trying to lessen the blow of the most, right? So they want the time and the ping to be the best.
Yeah.
They are the priority.
Yeah.
That's why they keep talking about lessening the blow of it being unfair or fair or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's why they keep talking about it. Because they want everyone to get a game, boom, 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 like this.
That's because of the bitchy, whiny survivors. That's what that's because of. It's not because of any, like, despair on the killer's part. That's a survivor problem.
That's why I would think they'd want to hide the ranks. Currently, our matchmaking system takes the player in a queue and looks for a match close to their rank. If it's unable to find an appropriate match, it will gradually expand the search range until it's able to give you a match. This can lead to both unfair matches and long queue times.
That's the problem right now.
Longer queue times, especially if there is less high-rank killers and more high-rank survivors, because it needs to wait for it to gradually expand and then find the lower-rank killers to go against.
That would be me. That's me right there. The fact is, there's a lot less high-level killers playing after the ruin changes, alright? And then, once it gradually expands the search range, you get to me, because I'm still playing and I'm rank 8. So it gradually, and once I play, I am the dumping ground for all of the red rank filth, the red rank SWF filth, and they want to teabag me at the gates when they get out every fucking time. But you know, because I'm just your whipping boy, right? And like, yeah, and you wonder why killers are leaving the game. You wonder.
Which is obvious. Like, we know this. The new matchmaking will instead pool a larger number of players together, compare their skill levels, and then create the fairest matches possible simultaneously.
Okay.
Interesting. So what that sounds like to me is, instead of getting one person to try and find people to connect to that one person before this happens, what it's going to do is it's going to get everyone from everywhere. So you could get a rank 20, and then a rank 1, and then a rank 5, and then a rank 7. And it's going to get all of them, and it's going to find, okay, so these are around this level, these are around this level. It's going to, like, grab them all at once, right? So instead of grabbing one person looking, it's going to grab 100 people, and then find the medium of all 100, right? That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like, and it would be quicker, because it means, I mean, overall, it just means you're getting more disparity in skill level.
Still a high
system would compensate.
There's still a high disparity within skill level right now, so when you play a game, at least from the high rank perspective.
Losing versus better players or winning versus weaker ones. Wait, what? MMR system would compensate you for losing versus better? Compensate? No, it'll hurt you. If you lose... Oh wait, lose versus better players. Yeah. And winning versus weak ones. Yeah, I mean, the way you worded it, but yeah, basically, if you win...
Bad wording.
Who it believes you shouldn't win, you'll fly up in hidden MMR. And if you lose to people who you shouldn't win anyway, you won't really lose much MMR, yeah. That's how it kind of works. We went over that, and yeah, it's basically the... You know, this thing. Okay, so where are we? There. With a larger pool to pick from, we hope to improve the fairness factor of matchmaking while also keeping pings and wait times low. So what's going to happen with Batch is there's going to be, you know, probability-wise, you'll get some people who definitely have some fair matches. You know, there's going to be like rank 7, rank 7, rank 8, rank 8, rank 9 or something. But you're going to always have the top, the kind of like the ones who are left over. So there is always going to be some people from that batch who are going to get some very interesting numbers. You're going to get some big disparity with some of them. Yeah. But I can see what they're thinking. They're thinking, you know, if you get people from rank 1 to rank 20 in a big batch, and then you go, all the people from rank 1 to 4 can go there, all the people from there can go there, but it's not going to be 100% everyone from rank 1 to rank 20. There's going to be big gaps. So maybe there'll be a gap of like a rank 1 and then all the way to like rank 5. So the rank 1 has to go against rank 5s, or rank 20 has to go against rank 10, because there's a big gap there. But I understand what they're trying. Okay,
but again, we might have those big gaps, but we have big gaps now. So... it's hard to say right now if it'll be better or worse than what we have right now. The batch matchmaking thing is, I don't know about that. I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But again, I don't like what we have right now. I don't like what we have right now. I want to see what we have right now go away. So I'm hoping that batch matchmaking will be maybe if it's not perfect, be a stepping stone to something greater. If it doesn't work, but the problem is if they hide the MMR, we'll never know. If they hide the MMR, we'll never know, which I guess is their goal, knowing behavior. They'll never know.
Let's see, and that's the end of it. The release of these changes will be gradual, with the release of the mid-chapter update. With the release of the mid-chapter update, we are able to start tracking skill levels. For the time being, this is only a test and will not be used for matchmaking purposes.
Okay. Yeah, they can do that.
Once we are confident that the skill rating is working as intended, we'll be running the tests on live servers. When this happens, you may notice some disparity in ranks during the matches, which I just said because of the batch thing, and also they are prioritizing time and ping over fairness. I mean, fairness is the last thing that they care.
But it should be the most important.
They obviously care for it, but it's the last thing. That's why they want to soften the blow consistently, and there's loads of evidence of that throughout reading this.
Absolutely.
To avoid confusion, to avoid confusion, we are considering removing ranks from the post-match scoreboard once testing is complete. Confusion. I don't know, man.
I see why he's still unsure about that, though, because if the system's working as intended, theoretically we should, like, if you combine the two ways of doing it just for like one session, just to see if it's working, you should see if they used rank, if you left the ranks in, and then the batch matchmaking, it would be like proof that it's working, and you could see people of your color with you. Well, more often than not. Again, you might get some oddballs, but in order to prove that it's working, if they left rank in there, it would prove to people that it's working. You know what I mean? And again, rank's not going to mean anything after the MMR. Once the MMR comes out, that's the number we're going to need to care about. Which MMR should be visible to you, and it should be visible at the end of the game match, so you know if the fucking thing was working or not. It should all be visible. They shouldn't be hiding anything. They shouldn't be hiding anything.
I don't know, man. The confusion being, you'll see people who are ranked 20, and you're going against them, and you're like, why am I going against rank 20? Well, because you're the same MMR, that's why. Or because of the batch system. The word in sus is fault. I see through this shit. Picks will be irrelevant back to BP farming we go. Yeah, I don't know, man. This seems really bad. This seems really bad. Really, really bad.
The batch matchmaking or the MMR?
Massively, you know. I don't know. I don't think this is a good idea, personally.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think it is. Anyway,
But, okay, so the reason why Tru is coming at this from a much more respectable angle. He doesn't think it's a good idea, I don't think, maybe he'll explain himself, but just from the evidence I've gathered watching this video, he doesn't seem to think it's a good idea because the game is, one, inherently not fair, which, again, it's not fair, it's not. He's definitely right about that. The game is inherently not fair. And I don't think he likes the batch matchmaking either. Which again, if those are the reasons, I do have some counterpoints here. The batch matchmaking is matchmaking, not MMR. The MMR system in theory should be fine. It's the batch matchmaking that would be the weird issue here. The batch, like who's to say that the batch matchmaking may work. It may not work. It doesn't. It sounds interesting on paper. It's just I don't know enough about it to say. The batch matchmaking seems like a pretty strange idea. So hopefully it works. But like if not, I just hope it's a stepping stone to something that will work. Another trial and error type thing. I don't like this. This has got to go. This is killing the game right now. This is the ranking system right now is part of the reason the game is terrible, so it absolutely cannot stay. The way that we do the ranking system and the matchmaking right now is killing the game and can't stay. So I'm open to trying batch matchmaking, even though batch matchmaking, like Tru said, doesn't necessarily seem like a fantastic idea. It can't get any worse than what we got right now. What we got right now is a fucking disaster. And it can't be any fucking worse than what we have right now. And again, the truest problem with the MMR seems to be that the game is inherently not fair. Which again, I'm hoping that we use the MMR as a stepping stone to get better balancing. Nobody has ever addressed the fact that we could use the MMR system to get better balancing in the game. That's what. Again, if we have no intention of balancing the game, this is a waste of time. I've said that. This is only a waste of time if we have no intention to actually balance the game. If we're going to balance the game and fix it, then this is a great idea. At least, like, again, every stepping stone to get the game where it needs to be. I'm okay with like, participating in every single step to get the game where it needs to be. However, if this doesn't have an end game, and we're just fucking around here, then it's pointless. Everything has to have a point, and if there's no point to doing this, then everybody's wasting their time, and behavior is wasting their time and money on something that's not going to improve the game anyway. Because the fact is, as I said, the game's core is busted, and ideally, and really, realistically, behavior, it shouldn't fucking take changing the entire matchmaking and ranking system for you to realize that the core is what's busted in this game. You should realize the core is busted now because everyone's fucking telling you it's busted. But I'm hoping that if we put an MMR system in there, it will be so undeniable that the core is busted that you don't have a choice. Because, like, survivors will be so OP and ridiculous that it'll... Like, seriously, if the game's core balance isn't addressed, that might have an effect in ruining batch matchmaking. We don't know. It's hard to say what's going to happen if this game doesn't get a fucking balance tweak that helps it. That's the main problem is balance, and I think in Tru's heart he knows that the problem with this game is the core imbalance of it.
As they will no longer be relevant to matchmaking, ranks will remain.
I also don't think he's keen on the idea of them hiding anything because he sees through the bullshit. I agree, it's bullshit. It's bullshit that they're hiding stuff. It's bullshit. That part of it is absolute bullshit and needs changed. So I'm like, that's a completely logical criticism of the system. But to be Interact and Scott John and say, hey, you can't do that because it's dumb and we shouldn't try, that's dumb. Tru's coming at this from a completely different perspective that's much more intelligent. Much more intelligent.
Only to you for bragging rights and a goal to work towards.
If the ranks are a goal to work towards, but they don't mean anything, then they're irrelevant and it doesn't matter. The MMR is what matters. So, yeah, that's a bullshit statement.
But will be a reflection of your dedication.
Dedication. But I thought that's what this was.
For the time being. We are confident these changes will allow us to create fairer matches without losing sight of our goals. To get you into a match as soon as possible with a solid connection. We'll be sure to keep you posted on our progress as we move forward. I don't know, man. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think this is a good idea. One of the reasons why I think a lot of killers play very nice is because of the emblem system. Because it basically punishes killers who just camp, tunnel, slug. I mean, a lot of the emblem system has been built around that. So
but you can build the MMR system around that as well. You can build the MMR system to penalize people for camping as well. You can penalize people for playing like stupid in the MMR system. If they can clearly punish it with the emblem system, there's no reason they shouldn't be able to punish it with an MMR system.
An MMR one, but if you don't know what MMR you are, you don't know if you're playing bad or good. So you face camp, Leatherface, and get 2 kills every game. and you don't know. I don't even know, man. Like, no one knows what's
the amount of time that you face camp should be taken into consideration when you do an MMR. Somehow, I don't really know how they would do that though. I mean, I do not want like face camping Leatherface to be the reason that we don't move forward with this. Because like it's funny to me that everybody brings up face camping Leatherface when we're talking about this. It's interesting to me that everybody brings that up. Fucking okay. First of all, you want to talk about Leatherface? Let's talk about Leatherface for a second. Leatherface needs a buff. Leatherface needs a rework. Okay, if you want, if face camping basement Leatherface is really the fuck, if a bottom tier killer is the reason we're not gonna move forward with an MMR, rework the fucking killer. Don't say we can't do the fucking system, we can't do MMR, we can't go forward with this because you're face camping Bubba. Rework Leatherface. The guy needs a buff. He could probably use the rework. Use the rework. Make him better. Make his chainsaw like faster and break pallets. You can make his chainsaw a basic attack or something. There's plenty of things you can do to making him a fucking wannabe hillbilly. There's plenty of things you can do with this guy that would fix the fucking problem of face camping and be able to move forward with the MMR. First of all, you can move forward with the MMR right now and just punish face camping for it. All you have to do is say if you're face camping somebody, it affects your MMR score. That's literally all you gotta fucking do, dude. That's literally all you gotta fucking do. It shouldn't be that hard. If they can do it for the emblem system, they can do it for the MMR system. So that's how you really fix it. You don't really need to change Leatherface. And plus, Behavior would probably love, they would salivate at the idea of a simple fix rather than giving Leatherface the buffs he needs. Because Leatherface needs like 16 buffs. Let's not kid each other. So they would salivate at the quick fix, just making face camping punish the MMR. Which I agree. Face camping probably should punish the MMR. When you're a survivor, it's annoying. It's annoying. And then everyone's too scared to come get you. It's dumb. So yeah, that should be punished by the MMR. I completely agree. Completely agree with you. But to say that we shouldn't do an MMR because of face camping Bubba is unacceptable to me. I disagree with that, if that's the reason that he's saying.
Good. Like, what's the good way of playing? Do I just play nice to these toxic teabagging survivors because I want them to have a fun game?
No.
That's not how people think. If you go against some really toxic, you know, think the God's gift survivors as killer, you're going to be salty, and you're probably not going to play too nice for the next survivors. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And now there's like zero consequence to play any way you want, really, as killer. So it's going to be even less fun as survivor.
I still think there's precedence, like even Scott Junn's system, there's precedence for punishing Iridescent Head, there's precedence for punishing all this stuff. It can really affect the MMR scores for when you do this stuff. There's precedence for punishing all of it in an MMR system. Behavior just has to do it right. To say we shouldn't move forward with an MMR is something that I just don't understand why all these people don't want. What is so great with this? Why should we keep this nonsense? This is horrible. I don't understand why we shouldn't take steps to move the game in a better direction where we have better understanding of balancing, we can better fix it, and there's precedence for punishing every annoying thing in the game. Like camping in Iridescent Head. And, but I don't know why everyone's so keen on Iridescent Head. Iridescent Head's going away, people. It's going away. Bye-bye. Pack your shit, Huntress. Iridescent Head is getting nerfed before the year is over. Mark my fucking words. Don't worry, guys. Behavior's got your back on that one. Iridescent Head is gone. Gone. Kiss it goodbye. It's not gonna be here. They're gonna nerf it with your slowdown synergy, motherfuckers. It's leaving. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Iridescent Head. It's leaving. It's leaving the game. It'll be gone from the game by the end of 2020. If it's not, I don't fucking know. I was gonna say I'll eat my shoe, but I'm not actually gonna eat my fucking shoe if it doesn't go away. So I'm just not gonna say anything. But it'll be gone. Mark my words.
And they hide in the MMR, so you don't even know if what you're doing is good.
Yes, that's true.
It doesn't make any sense to me, guys. Like, fair enough.
I will say this. Behavior has proven that their way, everything that they've released about the MMR, from their perspective, of that it's being hidden, combined with the fact that the game is unique, I will admit there is cause for a bit of concern there. My problem is with the foundational argument that we just straight up shouldn't fucking do it, and we shouldn't try. That is my problem with it. Tru's criticisms here, they're all extremely, they're way more valid than anything Scott, John, or Interact said. Way more valid. Because most of the criticisms he's saying are stuff that I level against the system in my own video about it.
Put an MMR system, do the batch, all that stuff. You know, it's interesting. Show MMR numbers. Let's see what number we are. Let's see who we're pairing to. Let's see how much.
Absolutely.
I don't know why they. it's so weird. But they should show MMR. They should show it. And also show us the MMR so we can see what good job you're doing, right?
Yes.
Like, if you're
doing a pretty good job so far.
And everyone close in MMR and stuff, let us see. Let us see how close everything is, you know? Obviously, there'll be some games that will be going against people way higher or way lower or something like that.
Tru3ta1ent also doesn't seem to criticize the actual system itself. Tru3ta1ent seems to at least understand I mean, he hasn't criticized or said we shouldn't do it. Tru3ta1ent, everything that Tru3ta1ent is against, he is against specifically Behavior Interactive's way of doing it. He has never said an MMR system would not work. He is against Behavior's way of doing it. Which again, I am too. I am too. But his fucking points are way more intelligent.
But let us see kind of like how consistent it is, if it is better. Because if it's hidden, how the hell are we even going to know? And then you're talking about fairness. Are they doing anything with Survivor Friends? Because obviously, people who form Survivor Friends are going to be the highest MMR.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely. And then guess what? That's how you look at that and go, it's imbalanced. Let's fucking get rid of it. It's really easy. Hopefully they do that.
So are they doing anything with that, or like, I don't even know, man. It's a big one. I'll put this on YouTube, so I'll have a look at the comments as well. So comment below. And yeah, let's have a chat. What do you think? I think it's a bad idea personally. I think what they needed to do was just work on the emblem system a bit better. Like,
okay, that's a fair point. I even said a while back that if there's precedence for revising this and fixing this to make it better. I contrary to my playing it up that it's horrible, it's not so far gone that it's unsalvageable. There is precedence for fixing this, I guess. So, like, if you don't want to do that in favor of fixing this to make this more accurate, that's fine. The problem is we don't have an accurate reflection of skill right now. Now, admittedly, me personally, I want this to be gone. I don't like it at all. I think the emblem system is a failure. But that's just me. If their release statement was we're going to fix it to revise it and make it better and make it more accurate, I'd meet them halfway on that. But the fact is, this is what they're going with, and at least there's some grounds behind it to actually be good. Granted, Behavior's not doing it right. They've already started fucking up, but they're not showing us anything. But there's at least grounds for, and hopefully they change that in the future. Maybe they'll change their minds on that one.
Emblem systems created for each killer to look into how the killers work.
I like that idea too. You could do an emblem system for each specific killer, because I don't like how. Yeah, I agree with that, because I don't like how Leatherface, the plague, bruh, the plague is hurt so bad by the emblem system. I think she is the worst killer in the game at playing it. Although then there's Legion, where you could have a game that's you're like you do 4 times worse on, but then as like you could do a game where you do 4 times worse as a Legion than you played as the plague, but the plague would still D-rank while Legion would not pip. But the Legion would safety pip in that situation. So like there's a lot of problems with it. And if you explored like a possible emblem system for every single killer, that would actually be an effective idea as well.
Emblems.
And it would also personalize it. That would make it easy to personalize. I actually like that idea as well. It would personalize the ranks really easily.
Systems allow you to dictate in a less, I guess, unfun way for the killers how they should play. You know, they should do many chases, they should do many hooks, they should do this, they should do that.
You shouldn't face
camp. By doing that, the killer feels rewarded by it because they're doing well in it, right? And the survivors have fun because you're telling the killers to play in such a way that is fun for the survivors. So both get something out of it, right?
Yes.
Probably more so the survivors, because it's designed to make it more fun for them.
That's why, yeah, the emblem system for killer is designed for survivor. My only complaints with that statement is I do think there are some strategies that are not rewarded by the emblem system that are completely legit, such as Blood Warden, for instance. Blood Warden is not rewarded by the emblem system, but like it's a fun little gimmick that I would like to try sometime, but the emblem system doesn't reward it enough. I think if you made the win condition just killing survivors, Blood Warden could see a lot more experimentation. But it doesn't work like that. So I'm hoping that... I still disagree with that. The only thing that really needs punished by an MMR system is face camping. That is the only thing that needs punished, I think. The only thing that just says, hey, you can't do that. Don't play this way. Because that's kind of dumb. Face camping is silly. We all know it's silly. It's not even good. It's not even good unless you're Leatherface. But, like... So, that needs to be punished. That's the only thing in the game that needs punished by any potential emblem system, in my opinion. If you think of anything else, let me know. But that's the only thing I can really think of that needs punished by an emblem system. Or any MMR system of any kind.
At least, both get something from it. This new way, like, I just imagine it being less fun for survivors, and I think you want fun for survivors. This is actually detrimental towards survivors. You do... do they realise that? Yes,
that is detrimental towards survivors, but guess what? You got so much in the past 7 months, it's time to fucking sit down and shut up. You got so much, you got the 3 best things in the game, Nerf, Spirit, and Ruin, all nerfed within the span of 4 months of each other. Sit down, let us have this. Let us have this. It does admittedly hurt survivors, but guess what? Just like you told us when the Ruin was nerfed. Get good. Shit happens. Get good. Learn how to deal with it. Adapt. Get good. Like, we sit here, I understand Tru doesn't play both, but we sit here and we like, oh, but the survivors could give 2 shits about us. Survivors could give 2 fucks about Killer. Zoo fucks. Why should we give 2 fucks about them? When a change comes out that finally is a minuscule benefit to Killer, we don't have to play so restricted and so dictated by the devs on our back, whipping us. The Killer is subservient to the developers of this game. That's how fucking of a power roll it is. The Killer's the power roll, but you have to play it this specific way or you get punished. I disagree with that. The only thing that's stupid is face camping. The only thing that is like a dumb thing is face camping. It's the only thing that needs punished by the fucking developers. But like to punish Blood Warden by an emblem system, I disagree with that choice. To punish any late game setup to kill everybody at the last minute by the emblem system, I disagree with that. If you're entirely reliant on NOED, you're taking a huge risk. Let's not fucking just forget that. NOED's like barely good. It's barely good at the high ranks. Barely good. It's better now because games last 4 minutes because of the Ruin change. But like, it's still barely good. It's still barely good, bruh. But I don't agree with restricting the power roll just to make it more fun for the other side. They don't restrict survivors to make it more fun for us. They don't say, hey, let's fucking nerf the generators a little bit. They don't do that for us. I don't have any sympathy towards survivors. Tru3ta1ent plays both, so I understand why he does. I myself have no sympathy for survivors at all. 0. You have everything you could possibly need to win. You have 8 million jungle gyms, 8 million broken looping locations. If the emblem system slightly favors Killer, get over it. Get over it. Absolutely get over it. The amount of shit you have to win is ridiculous. You should be winning more games because of the broken generator times, the broken loops, the broken maps. Get over it. Who the fuck cares if the emblem system and the new fucking MMR will slightly favor Killer? Get over it. The Ruin change didn't favor Killer. The Spirit change didn't favor Killer. Nothing that's happened in the past 7 months of this game has favored Killer. Oh, then we gotta rework Doctor. Big whoop. Doctor's trash. Big whoop. He's like, oh, he's better. Big whoopty shit, he was awful. He was awful before. It's a thank God he's better. He was fucking terrible. He was awful. Trash, dude. These want to fucking just cater to survivors at every fucking turn. No change in the past 7 months has helped Killer. A new MMR system is the fucking least we could do if we're not gonna address the fucking core imbalance of the fucking game. Not even mentioning SWF. Didn't even mention SWF through all of that. So if the emblem system slightly favors Killer, get the fuck over it. Get the fuck over it.
Pretty sure this is going to be detrimental towards survivors.
Good.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of just like killers who just go for one kill and face camp them and they don't care.
But again, an MMR system that would be punished, face camping would be punished. So how detrimental to survivors would it really fucking be?
Anyway, put it on YouTube, comment below.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it off right there. I've been going on way too long, and I gotta find my phone because I lost it on the stream. That's funny. So overall, what have we gotten out of this? Interact and Scott Junn don't know what they're talking about. There's precedence for doing this. Don't send an angry letter to behavior, please. Don't make an ass out of yourself, please. You deserve better than that. There's precedence for doing this. Scott Junn even gave a system that is like okay and kind of works. Again, it's not perfect, but it works way better than what we have right now. There's precedence for doing things better. There's precedence for doing things better. Most of Tru's criticisms were against behavior's way of doing it versus the actual idea itself. I don't think Tru liked batch matchmaking that much either, but that's just that's just my own interpretation of the damn thing. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride, but I think if we go about this, we're at least heading in the right direction. Because right now, it's a fucking disaster. The game cannot get any worse than it already is. Let's not pretend it's going to kill the game, everybody. The game can't possibly get any worse than it is right now, except if you brought back the old Decisive to Strike and Metal of Man. That's the only way it could get fucking worse. It's like Tide Time said, we are in the dark times. We are in the second age of the dark times. This game is awful right now. This game is in one of the worst states it's ever fucking been in. And in order to get it, we need core balance changes that I'm hoping an MMR system will bring to the developers' attention. If it doesn't, this is a complete waste of time and resources. But if we're leading to something, if we're working towards something, this could potentially be very good. Potentially. It could also potentially not be good at all. But who knows right now? Let's not just shit on the idea, let's see where it fucking goes. Because we need high-level balancing, and this could be the first step towards it. But it could also not be and suck. Because Tru3ta1ent had some actually logical points. As he usually does. The man is very smart. Interact with Scott Junn, though, don't listen to a word that comes out of their mouth unless they're talking about how to play the game. Because, like, they're really good at playing the game. Their analysis is not that great. I think that's an understatement. And again, I kind of played it up here. I respect all three of them. But for fuck's sake, bruh. We need some changes in this game or people are going to quit. It's that simple. People already are quitting. Less killers are playing. Trust me, I know. I know. It's ridiculous. Alright, I'm done here, bro. My throat hurts. I need a drink.